Hello everyone, this is Fantasy Audiobook. Here you find original fan-made audio stories.
Ben 10. Gender-bent Ben are so appealing. Part 3. After Xiao Ban helped Zhou Shu back to the ward, she saw that Tian Make, who was originally lying unconscious on the hospital bed, had also woken up. She quickly helped Zhou Shu to a chair next to the bed to sit down. Zhou Shu, seated on the chair next to the bed with Xiao Ban's support, realized that the Susanoo wasn't something to be used lightly. After all, before having eternal eyes, it was exhilarating for a moment, but afterward, it was a funeral pyre. Even the abilities of the Mangekyo should be used sparingly. Tian Make, who had been chatting with Xiao Wen while lying on the hospital bed, saw Xiao Ban helping Zhou Shu and asked them with concern. "Xiao Shu, what's wrong with you? What happened?" Hearing Tian Make's question, Zhou Shu simply waved his hand and replied, "It's nothing, Grandpa Tian, I'm just a little tired. Next time you should act within your limits, don't." But Xiao Ban didn't wait for her grandfather to finish speaking. She raised the Omnitrix on her wrist and said dejectedly to them, "Grandpa, she came to steal the watch, and a shoe was covering for me. If it weren't for this little broken watch, none of this would have happened." After hearing what Xiao Ban said, Xiao Wen raised an eyebrow and comforted Xiao Ban in front of her. "But you can't take it off at all, so we are helpless." Zhou Shu, sitting nearby, agreed, "That's right, Xiao Ban, there's no need to be like this." Xiao Ban just muttered to herself after hearing what everyone said, "Is that so?" That's not necessarily true. On the other side, the robber boss, who had been scared away by Zhou Shu, arrived downtown. Just then, her head throbbed, and she dropped to her knees. Immediately, Mojo Jojo's voice echoed in her mind. "Where is the Omnitrix? And how did that boy do it? Find out everything for me. I couldn't grab it at all. And you're terrible for not telling me the opponent was a superhero. I quit." But just as the robber boss finished speaking, Mojo Jojo in her mind directly swallowed her whole. Immediately after, the robber boss felt like she had fallen into an abyss. Mojo Jojo's voice followed closely, reminding her, "I'm giving you one last chance. If you fail this time, the consequences will be dire." The scene returned to the ward. While everyone was asleep and resting, Xiao Ban secretly got up and placed a note on her grandfather's hospital bed. "I'm doing this for your own good, Grandpa." Not only that, Xiao Ban also quietly walked up to Zhou Shu. She looked at her boyfriend in front of her, preparing to secretly slip another note to him. After doing all this, Xiao Ban resolutely ran out of the ward. The moment Xiao Ban ran out, Zhou Shu opened his eyes. In fact, Zhou Shu had woken up as soon as Xiao Ban stood up, he just hadn't opened his eyes. Only when he saw Xiao Ban leaving did he stand up and secretly follow her. After leaving the hospital, Xiao Ban walked alone into an unfamiliar park, completely unaware that her boyfriend was secretly following behind her. In the park, there was another pair of grandparents playing catch with a football. "Grandpa, here, here. Hurry up and come over. Coming, coming." Just as the little boy's grandfather ran over, he jumped up and hugged his grandfather, saying, "Grandpa, I love spending the summer vacation with you so much. Don't be too smug." Just as Xiao Ban was feeling down while watching the little boy playing with his grandfather, Zhou Shu walked out from the side, hid behind Xiao Ban, and covered her eyes. "Guess who I am?" Hearing that voice, Xiao Ban exclaimed the obvious answer with delight. "A shoe." Seeing that Xiao Ban easily guessed his name, Zhou Shu felt a bit bored but didn't do anything else. He just sat down next to Xiao Ban. "Xiao Ban, you're trying to run away from home again. Good thing I followed you, or you might have been lured away by some handsome boy again." And no. Thinking of the last incident, Xiao Ban felt her face heat up and blush, especially since Zhou Shu brought it up. Seeing that Xiao Ban seemed fine, Zhou Shu pressed his advantage, moving closer to Xiao Ban as he spoke, "Or maybe you don't want me as your boyfriend anymore." No. Just as Zhou Shu was about to get close, Xiao Ban quickly covered her reddening face with both hands and burrowed into Zhou Shu's embrace, saying, "A shoe, how did you know? What you're trying to do, I already know." Just as loving bubbles appeared between them, an emergency news report came from the radio playing on the chair next to them, shattering their atmosphere. According to police reports, this armed killer possesses powerful firepower. She has already destroyed multiple police cars on her way to the police training center. After hearing this news, Joshu and Xiao Ban exchanged a look, simultaneously understanding each other's thoughts. When evening arrived, Xiao Wen slowly woke up from her sleep. She instinctively called out, Xiao Ban, but received no response from Xiao Ban. She then rubbed her eyes and looked around the room for Xiao Ban, but she wasn't in the ward. She only found a note placed on the hospital bed. Dear Grandpa and Xiao Wen, I am too worried about you. To prevent you from being in danger, this is the better course of action. Signed, Xiao Ban. Following that, she saw the handwriting under the note, which was clearly different from Xiao Ban's messy script. It was unmistakably written by Joshu. I will protect Xiao Ban well. You don't need to worry. Just then, Tian Make, who was still asleep, happened to wake up as well. Looking at the stunned Xiao Wen in front of him, he asked, Xiao Wen, what's wrong? Just as Xiao Wen was about to answer her grandfather, the TV hanging in front of them started broadcasting the news that had just broken. The riot at the police academy training center has not yet subsided. Reports indicate that several police officers have sustained serious injuries. After listening to the news report, Xiao Wen turned her head, handed the note in her hand to Tian Make, who was still lying on the hospital bed, and continued. Xiao Ban left by herself, but Brother Shu followed her, and now I know where they went. I'm leaving now, Grandpa. Hey, Xiao Wen. Wait for me to go with you. You can't go anywhere. You can't go alone, it's too dangerous. However, Xiao Wen ignored the subsequent words from her grandfather. Instead, she directly grabbed the remote control nearby and adjusted his hospital bed to a flat position. Ouch! Oh, I can't get up, Xiao Wen. That's for the best. After saying that, Xiao Wen left Tian Make's room directly and rushed toward the direction where Zhou Shu and the others were, leaving Tian Make lying alone on the hospital bed. You get back here, Xiao Wen. Bang! Accompanied by the sound of a car explosion at the entrance, Flash Star's Xiao Ban rushed over while carrying Zhou Shu. Upon arriving, Xiao Ban gently put Zhou Shu down. After setting him down, Xiao Ban paused for a moment, as if savoring the feeling of holding Zhou Shu, until Zhou Shu tapped her, and she snapped back to reality with a blush. The robber boss, standing not far in front of them, witnessed the entire process. Although he had undergone mechanical modification, he still felt like he had been force-fed a mouthful of dog food. If it weren't for helping him retrieve the Omnitrix, how could I end up like this? Who is he? After hearing what the robber boss said, Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban reacted completely differently. Xiao Ban acted as if she knew nothing and asked, while Zhou Shu maintained a calm expression. However, just as they were talking, a tank had already driven up behind them, and the moment Xiao Ban saw the tank, she grabbed Zhou Shu and ran out. The robber boss, who was still stunned in place, took a direct hit from the tank's cannon shell. But as the smoke cleared, the robber boss suddenly appeared beneath the tank. 4 arms is mine. After saying that, the robber boss ignored the soldiers who took the opportunity to jump out and directly lifted the tank, throwing it toward Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban. But with Xiao Ban's speed, the tank thrown by the robber boss couldn't hit them at all. Xiao Ban also took advantage of the moment the robber boss had just exerted all his strength, ran behind her, and delivered a flurry of punches, sending her flying. Just as the robber boss landed, Zhou Shu's clone stabbed forward with Chidori. Accompanied by the piercing sound of Chidori, the laser emitter on the robber boss's left shoulder was directly destroyed. The robber boss, realizing what happened, still used the laser emitter on her right shoulder to disperse Zhou Shu's clone. Seeing his clone destroyed, Zhou Shu thought that if the robber boss hadn't dodged in time, Chidori would have pierced straight through her head. Xiao Ban saw this and immediately used her speed to slam the robber boss against a nearby wall again. Seeing this, Zhou Shu cooperated by using Great Fireball to blast the robber boss until she was disoriented. The robber boss could only lie on the ground, recovering for a while before slowly standing up. After standing up, she shook her head and regained her composure. Just then, an ambulance drove over. Before the paramedics could clearly see the situation ahead, they shouted toward the front, "Does anyone need help?" The robber boss nearby, upon hearing the voice, ran toward the ambulance as if she had seen a lifesaver. The medical staff on the vehicle immediately jumped out and ran toward her after seeing this scene. But Xiao Wen, still in the back of the vehicle, inexplicably opened the rear door and saw the robber boss rushing toward her. Xiao Wen. Seeing the robber boss charging towards Xiao Wen, Xiao Ban immediately used her speed to overtake her and quickly brought Xiao Wen into a small alley, saying, "Why are you here? It's so dangerous here. This way is better, doesn't that sound familiar?" After hearing Xiao Ban's words, Xiao Wen recalled the note and retorted angrily. But just then, the Omnitrix symbol on Xiao Ban's chest began to flash and beep. Hearing this sound, Xiao Ban said helplessly, "This sounds even more familiar." So annoying. While the two of them were chatting, only Zhou Shu was left to deal with the robber boss. However, after losing the other laser emitter, coupled with the strength Zhou Shu had previously displayed, she didn't dare to act rashly. Zhou Shu was the same. After learning about the side effects of Mangekyo and Susanoo, he didn't immediately launch an attack on her either. Just as they were deadlocked, another Zhou Shu suddenly rushed over from the side. But this time, Chidori didn't hit her, instead, it was pierced by a laser. It seems you can't use that ability from last time. It looks like the Omnitrix is mine this time. The robber boss, having been in a stalemate with Zhou Shu for a long time, took the initiative to attack when she saw he hadn't used his Mangekyo ability. Seeing this, Zhou Shu could only use his clones to continuously entangle her. Meanwhile, Xiao Ban heard the sounds of the fight between Zhou Shu and the robber boss and hurried toward the area. However, just as she took 2 steps, Xiao Wen, who was standing nearby, grabbed her. Xiao Ban turned back and said to Xiao Wen, who was holding up a phone, "I need to go help a Shu, you stay here." "Wait a minute, your phone." After hearing Xiao Wen's words, Xiao Ban stopped and took the phone from her hand. Immediately, her grandfather's voice came through the phone. "Xiao Ban, what's going on? We are family after all." "I know, Grandpa. Can we talk later? A Shu is still fighting that machine monster right now. I need to help him. This unkillable machine monster has given my alien heroes a hard time. Xiao Ban, if you can't destroy her from the outside, go inside and take care of her." "Right, thank you." Tian Make's words instantly enlightened Xiao Ban. After thanking him, she handed the phone back to Xiao Wen. Xiao Wen, seeing this, continued to complain to her. "It seems you aren't much better without Grandpa around." After saying that, Xiao Ban opened the Omnitrix dial and pressed it down. The robber boss, who was entangled with Zhou Shu, noticed the energy generated by the Omnitrix transformation and was about to give up fighting Zhou Shu, instead flying toward Xiao Ban's direction. Seeing this, Zhou Shu quickly followed her. The moment the robber boss landed, Xiao Ban, who had already transformed into 4 arms, immediately jumped up and possessed her body. As Xiao Ban possessed her, Zhou Shu rushed to the scene and watched the robber boss possessed by Xiao Ban along with Xiao Wen. The moment Xiao Ban possessed her, she entered a dream-like world where there was a giant octopus head. This giant octopus head spoke upon seeing her. "Listen to me carefully. You're scared, aren't you? You can't escape. I will definitely kill you. I will find you. When I find you, I will take back my Omnitrix and destroy you." Ha 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 ha. After it ended, Xiao Ban was thrown out by the robber boss. When Zhou Shu saw that she had broken free, he quickly used his clone to hold her down again, but she raised the last remaining laser emitter and began firing wildly. Just then, several armed personnel walked over. Xiao Wen saw this and quickly shouted a warning to them, "Quick, take cover." Upon hearing Xiao Wen's reminder, those armed personnel instinctively ducked their heads, thus avoiding the laser fired by the robber boss. Immediately afterward, they raised the guns in their hands and fired bullets crazily at her. It was because of these bullets that she was distracted, giving Zhou Shu an opportunity to knock her to the ground. Xiao Ban also took this chance to possess her body once again, but this time there were no further accidents. "Get off me quickly." "All right." As soon as Xiao Ban withdrew from the possession, all the alien armor on the robber boss's body fell off, revealing her original clothes. Even so, she hadn't given up and still wanted to grab the gun on the ground, but before she could act, Zhou Shu kicked her flying. After finishing everything, Zhou Shu and the others handed the robber boss over to the armed personnel at the scene, then left under the bewildered expressions of the armed personnel. The next day, Tian Make was discharged from the hospital. He walked toward the RV while leaning on crutches. Just then, Xiao Wen, who was beside him, suddenly asked Xiao Ban, who was walking ahead. Xiao Ban, speaking of which, when you possessed her yesterday, why did it suddenly seem like you were possessed in return? I don't know. It felt like 4 arms saw an alien, and we were floating in midair together. He kept talking to me. His weird head looks like a giant cuttlefish. He said I should be afraid. After hearing Xiao Ban's description, Tian Make showed a solemn expression, but Xiao Ban noticed it. Grandpa, you look very scared. After hearing his granddaughter's words, Tian Make exchanged a look with Zhou Shu standing beside him and replied. I'm fine. You'll be fine too, as long as we are together, nothing will happen. That sounds really nice. After saying that, Xiao Ban and Xiao Wen got into the RV, leaving the two who knew everything but remained silent outside. Brother, robbing this money was quite easy and pleasant, the black hat robber said while climbing down the ladder, listening to the vest robber who was already standing on the boat. Hearing his words, both of them burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. But just then, Zhou Shu descended from the sky and delivered a spinning kick that knocked out the black hat robber clinging to the ladder. Meanwhile, Xiao Ban, who had transformed into Big Steel Tooth, coordinated with Zhou Shu's move by pulling the vest robber into the water and knocking him out. Just like that, both robbers were unconscious. Seeing this, Zhou Shu could only helplessly speak to the bubbling water surface in front of him. Alright, Xiao Ban, you can come out now. Don't drown him. Got it, a shoe. After saying this, Xiao Ban quickly grabbed the robber in her hands and emerged from the water. The splash from Xiao Ban's emergence soaked Zhou Shu. Xiao Ban. After casually tossing the robber she was holding aside, Xiao Ban stuck out her tongue at Zhou Shu and said, sorry, but it's not a big deal. Upon seeing this, Zhou Shu could only smile helplessly. After all, he couldn't really do anything to Xiao Ban. He ended up tapping the Omnitrix symbol on her left chest, causing her to revert to human form. Ashu, how did you do that? How did you change back to human? Hearing Xiao Ban's surprised voice, Zhou Shu, who knew how it was done, played dumb and said to her, I don't know either. However, Xiao Ban could tell from Zhou Shu's teasing expression right away. But since she heard Zhou Shu was unwilling to tell her, she could only pretend to be angry and let out a HMPH before seemingly remembering something and continuing, you said before that you wouldn't hide anything from me, no matter what it was. But look at you now. Seeing Xiao Ban acting angry, even though Zhou Shu could tell she was fooling it, he still moved closer to coax her. Okay, I'll tell you. It's actually like this. I was thinking, since the dial can transform, maybe the symbol on this little broken watch can too. And based on the result now, it seems it can. Got it. Got it. Just as Zhou Shu was about to hug her, a voice suddenly came from above their heads. Excuse me, did you make the call? Upon hearing the voice, Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban, who had turned into a red tomato, separated. Then they looked up and saw a young officer in uniform. Seeing that they hadn't spoken, the young officer guessed they needed help and continued, excuse me, do you need assistance? I can help you. Hearing the officer's follow-up words, Zhou Shu snapped back to reality and quickly pointed to the two robbers lying on the other side of the boat, saying to him, we don't need help. We made the call. We caught 2 robbers, they are right here. Thank you. It's nothing. It's my duty. After speaking, the young officer pulled Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban up, and then had his subordinate climb down to bring the 2 unconscious robbers up onto the boat. After coming aboard, the young officer first shook Zhou Shu's hand to express his thanks, then said to the 2 in front of him, thank you both for your contribution. After speaking, the young officer waved his hand to his subordinate and said, let's go. Then he left the scene under the gaze of Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban. As Zhou Shu watched his back, he imitated the young officer's tone and said to Xiao Ban beside him, Xiao Ban, let's go. Afterward, the 2 of them also left the area and returned to the RV. Tian Make drove the RV toward the city center. Just then, Xiao Wen, sitting by the window, spotted a billboard outside featuring a clown. 3 Rings Circus Tour Performance, cool. Tian Make, who was driving, heard Xiao Wen's words and said with a voice full of nostalgia, I haven't been to a circus since I grew up. It's quite interesting. Do you want to go see it? I really want to go to the circus. Just as Xiao Wen exclaimed happily, Xiao Ban, sitting opposite her, rested her head on one hand and complained impatiently, because you look like a circus clown. This remark instantly angered Xiao Wen, who had been relatively cheerful moments before. Even Tian Make, in the driver's seat, told her, Xiao Ban. I'm not going. That's for little kids. Upon hearing Xiao Ban's impatient tone, Xiao Wen didn't indulge her at all and shot back immediately. Can you stop being so childish? Just then, Zhou Shu jumped in to mediate. All right, Xiao Ban, apologize first. Sorry, HMPH I'm going to sleep. After apologizing to the triumphant Xiao Wen in front of her, Xiao Ban announced she was going to sleep. However, Tian Make, in the driver's seat, glanced at the time and said, Come on, Xiao Ban, it's only 11 in the morning. Fine, I'll go then. Xiao Ban finally couldn't argue with Tian Make and reluctantly agreed. After everyone agreed, they all started doing their own things. Zhou Shu, sitting next to Xiao Ban, noticed her slight moodiness. Okay, Xiao Ban, just think of it as going for Grandpa Tian's sake. And if you really don't like it, I can go have fun with you. Okay, you said it. Xiao Wen, sitting opposite them, watched the scene unfold and felt like she wouldn't need breakfast this morning, since she had already eaten her fill of PDA. After Tian Make drove for a while, they arrived at the circus entrance. It looks like everyone in town came to see the circus performance. Hearing Tian Make's words, Zhou Shu nodded in agreement. Indeed. Maybe the clown here looks like Fierce Bear. Xiao Shu, what does that mean? That's a saying where we come from, Grandpa Tian. As they entered the circus, Xiao Ban looked at the clowns constantly appearing and then at the surrounding crowd, saying to Grandpa Tian beside her. The tickets might already be sold out. We're just wasting time. Just as Xiao Ban finished speaking, the host appeared on the performance stage in front of them. The host's voice, amplified by the microphone, attracted the attention of the entire crowd. Hurry over and watch, everyone. The world's most amazing freaks, mighty enough to shake mountains and seas, possessing immense strength, bald overlord. As soon as the host finished speaking, a man named Nail Clip, holding a steel pipe, walked out from behind the curtain. He then proceeded to demonstrate his ability to the audience. He first placed the steel bar on his neck, then used the strength of both hands to directly bend the steel bar, tossed it aside, and then, under the host's introduction, another person came out. Next up is Medusa. Heaven knows what would happen if she let her hair down. As Medusa appeared, she used her hair to steadily catch the steel bar thrown by Bald Overlord. Then, using her hair, she bent the already curved steel bar even further before placing it on a nearby table. Finally, making his insidious and cunning entrance, is the foul-smelling weirdo. He merely exhaled one breath, and the steel bar placed on the table was instantly corroded. Even the table was gone, leaving only a pool of molten iron. Upon seeing this, Xiao Wen waved her hand in front of her nose and exclaimed, gross. After watching the performance of the three strange men in front of her for a while, Xiao Ban felt a wave of boredom. She then walked toward the brightly lit tent backstage and looked inside. Inside the tent, the clown was constantly making strange movements in front of a mirror, muttering to himself. Hello everyone, want to have some fun? Perfect, I'll make them die laughing later, haha. After the clown finished speaking, he licked his lips, which made Xiao Ban's skin crawl. Just as Xiao Ban was standing in the previously empty space behind her, a questioning voice suddenly rang out. This doesn't look like boiling sheep. Why are so many people here to watch? Ashu, why are you here? You scared me. Who is outside? The previously panicked Xiao Ban immediately grabbed Zhou Shu and ran out after hearing the clown's voice from inside the tent. After running a short distance, Xiao Ban stopped. When she turned around, she saw the clown poking his head out of the tent. After seeing that there was no one outside, the clown pulled his head back in. Seeing this, Xiao Ban finally relaxed completely. After seeing that Xiao Ban was no longer so tense, Zhou Shu cautiously opened his mouth and asked her. What's wrong, Xiao Ban? Why are you so scared? Nothing. I'm not scared at all. Alright. Although he agreed verbally, Joshu still looked at Xiao Ban with disbelief until Tian Make and Xiao Wen saw them and walked over, telling them, "Hurry up, the show is about to start." Coming. After hearing their synchronized reply, Tian Make walked toward the performance area. As Joshu walked toward it with Xiao Ban, he said to her, "It's okay, Xiao Ban, I will protect you." This time, Xiao Ban didn't say anything else, only managing a blushing, in response. After Tian Make led them for a while, they arrived at the performance venue. The host, holding a microphone, spoke to the crowd in front of him. "Ladies and gentlemen, and dear children, welcome the leader of our happy circus, the king of Clown Kingdom, the one who makes people die laughing without consequence, the superstar of the circus, Clown 3 Hook Rope." As soon as the host finished speaking, the clown drove over in a pink antique car. After reaching the center, he kicked the car door open. This entrance successfully amused all the audience members in front of him, except for the surprised Xiao Ban and the drowsy Joshu. Actually, Joshu had a habit from his previous life: he would get sleepy whenever he watched a movie or a performance. Therefore, every time someone asked him to watch a movie in his past life, he would bring an eye mask. Unfortunately, he didn't have an eye mask this time, so he could only stare blankly and yawn from time to time. The clown's performance on stage continued. Just as the clown got out of the car, the antique car parked behind him suddenly started driving away on its own, leaving a trail of smoke on the ground. After driving some distance, the antique car turned around and sped toward the clown. However, upon seeing this, the clown merely sneered, beckoned to it, and pulled out a red bullfighting cape from his clothes, holding it in front of himself. Just then, the antique car accelerated fully and charged toward the clown. But when it hit the bullfighting cape in front of the clown, it suddenly transformed into a burst of fireworks. The audience in the stands erupted in loud laughter at this sight, but Joshu only felt a piercing noise. Meanwhile, the clown on stage advertised to the audience in front of him, "If you love clowns, you just need to come here. Oh, you can laugh wildly, 3 Hook Rope, guarantee it. Ha 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 ha." Listening to the laughter, Joshu only felt a wave of irritation. Just then, Xiao Ban suddenly stood up and said to Tian Make and Xiao Wen sitting next to her, I'm leaving, too, to buy popcorn." Seeing this, Joshu quickly said, "I'll go too. You guys watch first." After saying that, Xiao Ban and Joshu left without looking back. Seeing this, Tian Make asked Xiao Wen next to him, "Are those two okay? Are you asking me? I stopped caring if they were okay a long time ago." Xiao Wen then turned her head back to watch the clown speaking on stage. "My math has never been very good, but I believe yours isn't much better. Who wants to come up on stage and play? Full of fun tilde." After Xiao Ban and Joshu came out, Xiao Ban panted and complained to Joshu beside her, "This clown's performance isn't good at all." Hearing Xiao Ban's complaint, Joshu just yawned and nodded in agreement, "It is quite boring." While the two were still chatting, a sound of shattering glass suddenly came from in front of them. Upon hearing the sound, Xiao Ban immediately pulled Joshu down and crouched low. They crept closer and saw the three strange men who had been performing earlier robbing a jewelry store while no one was around. Seeing this, Xiao Ban exclaimed in surprise to Joshu beside her, "Ashu, they are actually criminals." Yawn. I can see that. Then we must stop them." While the trio of weirdos was committing the robbery, Xiao Ban pulled Joshu and had already crept close to them. Seeing this, Xiao Ban truly couldn't stand it anymore. She directly slammed the dial of the Omnitrix. A green light accompanied by a beep sound, and the spot where Xiao Ban was standing was replaced by four-armed Overlord. Having transformed into the alien hero she wanted, Xiao Ban praised the little broken watch. "This dumb watch is actually a bit useful." After speaking, Xiao Ban and Joshu rushed out. Bald Overlord, who was walking toward them, crashed directly into four-armed Overlord. "Buddy, are you kidding me? Tilde. Before Bald Overlord could finish speaking, Xiao Ban grabbed Bald Overlord's arm, lifted him up, and threw him out. With a bang, Joshu also rushed forward and sent foul-smelling weirdo flying with one punch. After delivering the punch, Joshu even shook his hand with a look of disgust. The Medusa, who was at the very back, saw that her two accomplices had been defeated and quickly manipulated her hair to stab toward Zhou Shu not far away. However, it was a pity that she hit a clone. With a bang, the Zhou Shu she stabbed turned into a puff of smoke. Then, another Zhou Shu appeared, gripping Chidori, and pierced her left shoulder. If her hair hadn't quickly defended, causing this Zhou Shu to slightly change direction, this blow could have sent her straight to see her great-grandmother. However, by the time Zhou Shu returned to the ground, the three strange men had already gathered together. Seeing this, Xiao Ban quickly moved closer to Zhou Shu's position. Clutching her injured left shoulder, Medusa looked at Zhou Shu and four-armed Overlord in front of her and quickly said to Bald Overlord, who had just arrived, "Hurry up and go notify the boss. Foul-smelling weirdo and I will hold them off." The slow-witted Bald Overlord immediately ran toward the performance area upon hearing Medusa's words. Medusa took the opportunity to attack Zhou Shu and the other with foul-smelling weirdo. Seeing this, Xiao Ban grabbed Medusa's hair and flung her away, while Zhou Shu used the surrounding environment to continuously dodge foul-smelling weirdo. But at this moment, Zhou Shu found an opportunity. He grabbed a car door that foul-smelling weirdo had melted by the roadside and stuffed it down his throat. "It's useless, I can easily melt this." After speaking, foul-smelling weirdo used both hands to grab the car door in his mouth and melted it. However, the molten iron water resulting from melting the car door also melted a hole in the bottom of his mouth. On the other side, Bald Overlord had also entered the performance venue and successfully met the clown boss, who was still trying to entertain the audience. Ha 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 ha. Amidst the audience's laughter, the Bald Overlord walked over and spoke to the clown floating in front of him. "I'm sorry, boss, interrupting you. How many times have I told you not to disturb me while I'm enjoying my meal?" We ran into a small problem. Under the clown boss's gloomy gaze, the Bald Overlord recounted everything that had just happened. Outside, Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban had managed to tie up the two strange figures. But just then, there was a thud sound next to them, accompanied by the appearance of smoke, and the clown walked out of the mist. "I heard you two are good at tricks. Let me see." With that, the clown threw a straight punch at the two in front of him. However, what he didn't expect was that the four-armed Overlord directly grabbed him and slammed him onto the ground. "Ouch, alright, you do have a few little tricks." Despite being attacked by the four-armed Overlord, the clown stood up completely unharmed. He then patted his slightly wrinkled clothes and said, "But these little tricks won't do much good." Afterward, the clown moved like a nimble fatty, constantly dodging Xiao Ban's attacks. Even when the four-armed Overlord, four hands were working so hard they were smoking, they couldn't touch him. Not only that, but the clown could also counterattack Xiao Ban at any time. Finally, the clown sent a kick flying toward Xiao Ban. Just then, Zhou Shu thrust the Chidori in his hand toward the clown's face, but unfortunately, the clown dodged it using the same trick from the beginning. Seeing this, Zhou Shu looked at the slightly trembling Xiao Ban behind him and sighed, knowing that without the Mangekyo, they wouldn't be able to keep the clown here. But it wasn't the right time yet. So, Zhou Shu slapped the Omnitrix symbol on the four-armed Overlord, bicep, transforming Xiao Ban back into a human, and then carried her away from there. Seeing them leave, the clown just sneered at the few underlings behind him, "You are truly useless. These two are just a couple of little mice, and you can't even deal with them. But the main show is about to start." After speaking, he waved his hand, healing their injuries, and then with a poof, he disappeared, leaving only a ground full of confetti, returning to the original performance area to continue his show until the end. Zhou Shu carried Xiao Ban, who had already fallen asleep in his arms, back to the RV bed. Then, he headed to the circus entrance to find Tian Make and Xiao Wen. When Zhou Shu found Tian Make leaning against a step inside the circus, he was already somewhat delirious, only capable of giggling foolishly. Seeing this, Zhou Shu quickly ran over to wake him up. "Grandpa Tian, how are you? What about the circus?" "Hee hee. I don't, hee hee, no, hee hee hee." After speaking, Tian Make shook his somewhat tired head for a moment before continuing, "I just remember we kept laughing. Ha ha ha, it was really too funny." After saying that, Tian Make fainted. Seeing this, Zhou Shu could only sigh helplessly, but then he woke up again, laughed at Zhou Shu in front of him, and seeing this, Zhou Shu slapped his forehead and muttered, "I give up." Then, he carried the still somewhat delirious Tian Make on his back to the RV. As Zhou Shu entered with Tian Make on his back, he saw Xiao Ban, who had already woken up. Xiao Ban looked at Zhou Shu in front of her with confusion and asked, "What happened to Grandpa? And where is Xiao Wen?" Before Zhou Shu could answer, Tian Make, who was on his back, immediately jumped down and said to Xiao Ban in front of him, "I'm fine." Xiao Wen was captured by the three-hook clown. After speaking, Medusa gave Bald Overlord and foul-smelling Weirdo, who were behind her, a look, signaling them to attack together. Although Bald Overlord didn't look very smart, he actually wasn't. He didn't even understand his teammates' look and only understood after foul-smelling Weirdo, who was nearby, reminded him. Then, he led the two of them charging toward the box where Zhou Shu and the other person were. Seeing this, Zhou Shu quickly activated his 3 Tomo Sharingan and used a genjutsu on them. Although he wasn't skilled at genjutsu, these 3 weirdos still couldn't resist it. "Strike 3, you're out." Xiao Ban looked at Zhou Shu with adoration, who instantly took down the 3 Kaleme. Zhou Shu also noticed Xiao Ban's gaze beside him and said, "Alright, Xiao Ban, you can do it too in the future. We still need to continue searching for Xiao Wen." With that, Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban walked toward the entrance of the clown circus. Upon seeing the clown's head portrait above the circus entrance, Xiao Ban kept encouraging herself, "I won't be afraid of him. He's just a clown. It's okay, Xiao Ban, I'm here, there's no need to be afraid of him." After hearing Zhou Shu's comfort, Xiao Ban finally mustered up her courage and walked into the clown tent. Seeing this, Zhou Shu smiled with relief and followed her in. After walking inside for a while, a mirror appeared in front of them. However, Xiao Ban didn't notice until she turned around and came face to face with herself. "Ah. It's okay, Xiao Ban, that's just a mirror. So annoying, I'm even scared of myself right now." It's fine, take your time, Xiao Ban." "Shu, I understand." Under Zhou Shu's appeasement, Xiao Ban gradually calmed down, then they continued walking deeper into the circus until they reached a room full of mirrors. Just then, the clown's voice appeared around them, "Listen up, you two brats, I have a feeling you will bring me endless joy, ha 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 ha." Suddenly, all the mirrors beside them transformed into the clown's appearance. Zhou Shu knew this was just a genjutsu, but to help Xiao Ban overcome her fear of clowns, they had to use this illusion. In Xiao Ban's illusion, Zhou Shu beside her disappeared, leaving only the clowns in the mirrors around her. Seeing these clowns, all of Xiao Ban's previous courage vanished. She could only flee in one direction. She ran farther and farther until she reached a giant surprise box. Suddenly, Xiao Ban was bounced up by the surprise box. In midair, she saw the giant clown head that popped out of the surprise box taunting her. "You're not as good as the other brat, but he has already run away, ha 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 ha." "Impossible. Shu wouldn't leave me behind alone." But Xiao Ban didn't believe what the clown said, until she fell from the air. Finally, she landed on a spiderweb and got stuck. Just then, a strange creature with a clown head and a spider body crawled over and pinned Xiao Ban down with its claw, saying, "Good kid, you need to learn to relax and laugh happily, it really feels great." "Ah." After speaking, the clown ripped the spiderweb beneath Xiao Ban amid her screaming, causing Xiao Ban to fall further until she landed on the floor of the circus. Then, the clown walked step by step toward the fallen Xiao Ban and said, "You aren't scared of my third hook, are you?" Hearing the clown's words, Xiao Ban raised her head and noticed something was wrong with the clown's clothes. On both sleeves of his clothing, there were glass panes, and inside the glass panes were the laughter of the audience. Xiao Ban looked at the glass pane above his head, and inside it was an old Wen, whose face was covered in wrinkles but who was still laughing non-stop. "What exactly do you want?" When the clown heard Xiao Ban's question, he simply snapped his fingers and moved aside, revealing the machine behind him. Just then, a tube flew out of the machine and pierced the clown nose on the back of the clown's suit. Only then did the clown finally emit genuine laughter. "Ha ha ha ha, I just want what every clown wants, to make everyone laugh, that's all, ha 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 ha." He had been speaking normally before, but suddenly the clown's style changed drastically. "Then I suck away their sense of joy, just like a sponge absorbs water, ha 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 ha. So you used that machine to suck away everyone's sense of joy. Seeing that Xiao Ban knew all this, he stopped pretending and explained to Xiao Ban in front of him, it's called the clown machine. Clever, right? I will soon go to the big city to perform. Then, millions of people will laugh for me, making me stronger, ha 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 ha. Xiao Ban just kept her head down so the clown couldn't see her expression, until she raised her head and spoke to the clown in front of her with a firm voice, hurry up and give me back my cousin. Cousin, oh, didn't you hear? She ran away with the circus, ha 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 ha. As he spoke, the clown shined a light on Xiao Wen, who was lying to the side. Oh tilde, that's hilarious. I won't let you laugh anymore. Seeing the furious Xiao Ban, the clown slapped the watch on her wrist. Then, Xiao Ban transformed into a ghost in a green light. After seeing this scene, the clown remained with his arms crossed and spoke to the ghost in front of him, not bad, kid, but I'm better. I'm not afraid of you. Compared to a clown, you remind me of something I fear even more. Before finishing, Xiao Ban punched him away and turned invisible, continuing her previous sentence, which is letting a clown hurt my family. In other words, you're done, clown. After saying that, she punched his red nose again. Just then, Zhou Shu, who had been lurking in the shadows, silently walked out, followed by a great fireball that completely destroyed the machine behind the clown. After the machine was destroyed, the joy that had been imprisoned inside rushed out and flew toward their respective directions. The clown, having lost his power, fell to the ground but still spoke stubbornly, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Hearing what the clown said, Xiao Ban slowly floated over to the red-faced clown and said, do you know what true terror is? Immediately after, Xiao Ban pulled open the seams on the ghost form's body, revealing the tentacles inside, which scared the clown into retreating repeatedly while shouting in fear. Seeing this, Xiao Ban immediately mocked the frightened clown in front of her, oh tilde, you aren't scared of me, this old ghost form, are you? Ha 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 ha. Ah, I beg you, no. Then there was a bang, and the clown, who had been sitting on the ground, exploded and disappeared. Xiao Ban looked at the confetti on the ground and said, oh tilde, even I was a little scared. Immediately after, the Omnitrix symbol on Xiao Ban's body emitted a series of beeps, followed by a red light, and Xiao Ban transformed back into a human. Just then, Zhou Shu walked over carrying Xiao Wen, who had just woken up. Xiao Wen, still a bit disoriented on his back, said to Xiao Ban in front of her, ah tilde what? Xiao Ban, where's the popcorn? After she finished speaking, she passed out again. Finally, Zhou Shu carried her back to the RV. In the RV, Xiao Ban, sitting on the sofa, asked her grandfather, who was driving, Grandpa, are you feeling alright? I couldn't be happier. You two were amazing, especially you, Xiao Ban, for successfully overcoming your fear of clowns. The tour guide was explaining in front of the group that Zhou Shu had signed up for, pointing to a tome inside a glass cabinet. What is displayed in the glass cabinet before you is the greatest discovery of this century, a peerless heavenly book, the Alchemy Spell Tome. It records all the ancient witchcraft and spells since the late 15th century, x2. The tour guide, who was lecturing at the front of the group, finally couldn't help herself. She then said to Xiao Wen, who was still chattering away in front of her, I think you should be the tour guide instead, little sister. After speaking, the tour guide took the rest of the tour group and left. Seeing this, Xiao Ban walked over to the stunned Xiao Wen and said, don't let that old lady anger you, she's probably even older than that tome. After saying this, Xiao Ban made a funny face, which made Xiao Wen laugh. But suddenly, accompanied by the sound of the museum shaking, everyone inside the museum floated up and were sucked toward the ceiling. When Zhou Shu saw this scene, he quickly used chakra to steady his figure. After finally stabilizing himself, he reached out to grab Xiao Ban and the others. Seeing everyone else floating on the ceiling, Tian Make said to Zhou Shu, who was holding him, I have a bad feeling about this definitely isn't part of the show. Just as Tian Make finished speaking, a red smoke drilled in through the window and landed in front of the glass cabinet containing the tome. Zhou Shu and the others looked at the freak standing before them, wearing a black cloak, pale-faced, and holding a bird-headed staff, who said to the tome in front of him, the Alchemy tome, its power will finally be mine. Immediately, as he silently recited the spell, Joshu felt that the power was not as intense. He directly spat out a great fireball toward him. The wizard, feeling the heat from the side, hurriedly cancelled his control over the others and freed up power to counter the fireball. After a burst of chanting and with the talisman on his body lighting up, the fireball that was rushing toward him was directly repelled. "Brat, you're asking to die. If you're weak, go practice more." While Joshu and the wizard were confronting each other, Xiao Ban transformed into Flash Star and used a nearby cloth to safely catch everyone who had fallen from the ceiling. Seeing that everyone was safe, Xiao Ban said to her grandfather in front of her, "Grandpa, you all hurry to a safe place. I'll go help a Shu. Xiao Ban, be careful. Who knows what tricks he'll pull." After giving the warning, Tian Make and Xiao Wen led the others away from there. "Old man, if you want to borrow a book, go to the library." After saying that, Xiao Ban ran over and broke the balance between Joshu and the wizard. Seeing this, Joshu quickly released his clone to cooperate with Xiao Ban in attacking the wizard. The wizard released the power of another rune, and immediately a flame ignited the cloth behind them, forcing Xiao Ban to dodge backward. Joshu, however, still threw a kunai toward his position. The wizard instantly released the power of yet another rune, and his bird-headed staff shot out red crystals, knocking down all the kunai Joshu had thrown. Just as he was using the staff to attack Joshu, Xiao Ban took the opportunity to run behind him and kicked him flying. Seeing this, Joshu praised Xiao Ban, "Well done, Xiao Ban." This kick successfully knocked him unconscious, and a rune fell from his body. Seeing this, Xiao Ban picked it up and casually tossed it toward Xiao Wen, who had just entered. Tian Make, who had just entered and saw Xiao Ban knock out the wizard, also praised Xiao Ban, saying, "Beautiful. I'm just doing what I should do, trying to keep a low profile as much as possible." However, not long after Xiao Ban finished speaking, she was surrounded by a group of reporters. Xiao Ban struck poses for the reporters to take pictures. "Who? The great hero. The people standing outside watched the scene speechlessly. An ambulance beside them took away the unconscious wizard. After everything concluded, the group returned to the RV. Once inside, Xiao Ban started organizing her things, putting all her spoils from the summer vacation into a cardboard box. Xiao Wen, sitting opposite Xiao Ban, looked at the rune in her hand. Seeing this, Xiao Ban said to her, "How about it? I'll give that one to you. I still have so many anyway." "HMPH. Who cares about the things you give? Then give it back to me." "No way. HMPH tilde." Tian Make, driving the RV, heard their conversation and said to Xiao Wen, who was still holding the rune, "Xiao Wen, shouldn't you say something to Xiao Ban?" "Fine, although I really don't want to say this, thank you, Xiao Ban." On the other side, in the ambulance, a doctor was checking the wizard's condition. Just then, the previously unconscious wizard woke up and said, "My destiny is about to change." He then used a rune to blow up the ambulance compartment. Immediately, under the driver's terrified gaze, he crossed his legs, floated, and left. The scene shifted back to Joshu's side. They arrived at a hotel to eat. At the dining table, Xiao Wen said to Xiao Ban sitting next to her, "I counted that you ate 11 shrimp, I ate 10, and brother Shu ate 11 too, so I should round it up to an even number." Saying this, Xiao Ban reached for the last shrimp with her fork. But just as Xiao Ban was about to succeed, Xiao Wen slapped the fork away. At that moment, the rune around Xiao Wen's neck flashed, and the fork flew toward the outside of the dining table. The flying fork happened to stab the foot of a passing waiter. In pain, the waiter flung the water glass in his hand, which was carried by the ceiling fan and thrown into the back of the chef, causing him to step back and push out a small cart behind him. That small cart rapidly moved toward the two who were still arguing. The cart then hit their dining table, and the plate of live shrimp on the cart flipped over toward Xiao Ban's head. However, Joshu, sitting on Xiao Ban's other side, was quick enough to catch the plate of live shrimp, successfully saving Xiao Ban from harm. "Thank you, Ashu. It's nothing." After seeing this scene between the two of them, Xiao Wen suddenly felt like she didn't want to eat anymore, as if she were already full. But she still ate that last shrimp, because Xiao Ban didn't have time to eat now. "I'm full." Regardless, the moment Xiao Wen finished speaking, Xiao Ban fell off her stool. Even Zhou Shu, sitting next to Xiao Ban, didn't react in time. Then Xiao Wen felt something strange around her neck. She looked down and saw the rune that had just gone dark. Inside the museum from before, the wizard returned to this location. Upon entering, he simply waved his hand, pinning the security guards to the wall, and then began searching the room. After searching fruitlessly for a while, he pulled the security guard floating behind him over and questioned him. "Where is the alchemy to spell codex?" In the safe." Hearing the answer he wanted, the wizard walked straight toward the safe nearby. As he looked at the safe before him, under the shocked gaze of the security guard, he waved the bird-headed staff in his hand, causing everything on both sides of the safe to fly away. At #% at %%. After clearing away the items on both sides of the safe, he recited another spell, and a massive pressure crushed the safe until it exploded. Then, he waved his hand, causing the alchemy to codex in the smoke to float over to him. Looking at the codex before him. "Wonderful. My magical power will soon be unmatched under heaven." As he spoke, both he and the codex were releasing lightning, but after a moment, it stopped. He lowered his head, looking at the missing rune on his neck scarf, and muttered to himself, "It seems I'm missing something." I know, it dropped at that time. Finally, accompanied by a burst of red smoke, he vanished from the museum. At the night market, Tianmake was looking around with Zhou Shu and the other two. Then, Tianmake remembered the fall Xiao Ban had just taken and said, "Ha ha ha, in all my years, I have never seen anyone as unlucky as you. It's hilarious. Ha 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 ha." Hearing this, Xiao Wen, who was beside him, also started laughing. Seeing this, Xiao Ban could only manage a stiff smile. Zhou Shu, walking next to Xiao Ban, secretly reached out a hand from below and took hold of hers. This caused Xiao Ban to stiffen momentarily, but she quickly returned to normal. This action was not noticed by the other two, who were still laughing heartily. Seeing this, Xiao Ban quickly breathed a sigh of relief, then looked excitedly at Zhou Shu beside her. Just then, Xiao Wen, walking on the other side, suddenly said to Xiao Ban, "Thank you for giving me this pendant. I feel like I should give you something in return." After speaking, she spotted a hot dog stand ahead and immediately ran over to the vendor, saying, "I want 4 hot dogs, please." However, just as Xiao Wen finished speaking, a cry for help came from the other side of her. "Help! Someone is robbing my purse." Seeing this, Tianmake, who was standing behind Xiao Wen, immediately stepped out and blocked the escaping robbers, saying, "Stop right there." Upon seeing who was blocking him, the robber boss immediately slung the purse over his shoulder and sneered at Tianmake, "Is that so? Who wants to fight us? You, old man." Behind him, Xiao Ban quickly hid behind the stand, intending to transform into Diamond Head using the Omnitrix. But after speaking, the robber boss pulled out a steel bar from behind him, while another underling walked toward Xiao Wen. "Hey, that necklace of yours is pretty nice. It belongs to me now." Xiao Ban's Omnitrix showed no response. Seeing this, Xiao Ban complained speechlessly to it, "Annoying. I'm really having a terrible streak of bad luck today." Seeing that Xiao Ban couldn't transform, Zhou Shu didn't want to bother with the hassle, so he stepped forward and said to the robbers in front of him, "Give the purse back, and I'll let you leave." The robber boss still wore a disdainful expression and said, "Just you guys, get him." As the robber boss waved his hand, Zhou Shu struck at the same moment, subduing 2 of them in an instant. The last one rushed straight toward Xiao Wen. Just then, Xiao Ban suddenly darted out from behind the stand and bumped into Xiao Wen, causing Xiao Wen to stumble and bump into the street performer behind her. This, in turn, caused a prop in the performer's hand to fly out and hit the robber in the face. Finally, he was kicked down by Zhou Shu. After everything was done, Xiao Wen looked down and saw the pendant on her neck whose light had just dimmed. Zhou Shu, standing near Xiao Ban, also noticed this scene, but he didn't say anything, just pretended not to see it. Then, Xiao Wen touched the pendant on her neck and said, "Oh, cool tilde." Immediately after, a passerby who witnessed the whole process said to other onlookers who didn't know what had happened, "Thanks to them, they are both heroes." "Who? Me? I was just lucky." Zhou Shu quietly retreated from the center of the crowd to play with Xiao Ban, leaving Xiao Wen alone to be stared at by the passers-by. Then, amidst the crowd, Xiao Wen spotted a mask stall not far away. Immediately, a knowing smile appeared on her face. In the morning, Tian Make was still asleep, but his snoring made it impossible for Xiao Ban to sleep any longer. Xiao Ban then opened her eyes and asked, "Xiao Wen, do you have any super giant earplugs?" However, Xiao Ban didn't hear a response from the bunk below her. Instead, Zhou Shu, who had already woken up and was looking at his computer, told her, "Xiao Wen left early this morning. I don't know what she went to do." "Okay, Shu. But aren't you sleepy now?" Seeing that Xiao Ban was completely awake, Zhou Shu turned off the computer in front of him and said, "Not really, I still feel quite energetic. By the way, do you want to go out for some exercise with me?" "Yes, yes." Seeing Zhou Shu invite her, Xiao Ban quickly got out of bed to wash up. Zhou Shu could only shake his head helplessly. After Xiao Ban finished washing up, Zhou Shu took her out for a run. As they passed a basketball court, they happened to see Xiao Wen shooting hoops with her back to the basket. Seeing this, Xiao Ban immediately stopped and said to Zhou Shu beside her, "Shu, do you believe she absolutely won't make that shot? With her amateur skills, she thinks she can make a shot with her back turned." "Is that so? Then let's watch," Zhou Shu replied after hearing Xiao Ban's words, stopping his steps as well, facing the confident Xiao Ban. As Xiao Ban had predicted, the ball flew directly over the rim and headed toward their RV. But after bouncing off the RV, the basketball flew up toward a nearby high-voltage utility pole. Then it slid down the wires of the pole, landing perfectly inside the hoop. Xiao Ban, standing nearby with Zhou Shu, witnessed the entire thing. Xiao Ban felt like the whole world had gone crazy. Such an absurd shot could actually go in. Zhou Shu, seeing Xiao Ban's mouth open wide enough to fit an egg, chuckled. Xiao Ban turned back to Zhou Shu beside her, still looking incredulous, and asked, "Shu, are you sure this isn't a joke? Didn't you see it yourself?" Only after the basketball entered the hoop did Xiao Wen notice Xiao Ban and Zhou Shu watching her shoot not far away. Then, she proudly showed off to Xiao Ban. "How was that? I can just casually sink it." All right, you're amazing, okay. Hurry up and tell me how you did it." After hearing Xiao Ban's words while looking smug, Xiao Wen lifted the pendant on her neck and explained. "It's nothing, I'm godlike. As long as the pendant lights up, everything will go smoothly." At this moment, Tian Make, who had been sleeping in the RV, also woke up. He walked out of the vehicle and said to the few people in front of him, "A night of good sleep is truly wonderful. By the way, who wants breakfast?" But just then, at the construction site not far from them, a tower crane collided with the building under construction, leaving the workers on top suspended in midair. Seeing this, Xiao Wen confidently said to Xiao Ban behind her, "The great hero is about to make an entrance." Yes, this great hero is about to make an entrance. Xiao Wen ignored what Xiao Ban said afterward. She just touched the pendant on her neck and rushed over, while Xiao Ban stayed put, trying to use the Omnitrix on her wrist. However, right after Xiao Wen left, Xiao Ban slapped down the dial of the Omnitrix. Immediately after, she transformed into a super beast and ran toward Xiao Wen. Seeing this, Zhou Shu and Tian Make could only follow helplessly. "Help, help, someone save me." When they arrived at the scene, they could still hear the voices of the workers trapped in the steel bars. Just as Tian Make was preparing to go and rescue them, he heard a sound from behind. Tian Make looked back and saw Xiao Wen, who had quickly changed her clothes. She was wearing a black leather jumpsuit, a scarf around her waist, and a cat face mask on her face, with the same pendant still hanging around her neck. Upon seeing Xiao Wen's outfit, Tian Make looked utterly bewildered and called out uncertainly to her, "Xiao Wen. Please call me Lucky Girl, Grandpa." After speaking, Xiao Wen confidently rushed over and shouted to the trapped workers, "Don't be afraid, Lucky Girl is here to save you." Then, she used her luck to rescue a worker trapped in a vehicle. On the other side, Xiao Ban climbed onto the tower crane and found two workers who could only hold on with their hands to keep from falling. Just as Xiao Ban was preparing to rescue them, a construction elevator suddenly flew quickly toward her, directly launching Xiao Ban into the air. Tian Make, watching from below, saw Xiao Wen accidentally smash the elevator switch, causing it to ascend and trap Xiao Ban again. He quickly shouted to Xiao Wen, who was still stunned below the elevator. Xiao Wen, "Ah no, lucky girl, run." At Tian Make's reminder, Xiao Wen quickly dodged away. However, when she hid inside a cement mixer truck, she accidentally turned on the mixer's switch. This caused Xiao Ban to fall into the mixer's drum. Fortunately, she managed to save the other two people. Following a flash of red light from inside the cement mixer truck, Xiao Ban was quickly pulled out by the arriving Zhou Shu, who wiped her body dry. Meanwhile, Xiao Wen was being interviewed on the other side. Seeing this, Xiao Ban pouted, unhappy, and said to Zhou Shu in front of her, "If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have given her that pendant. Now she's actually messing with me. It's okay, Xiao Ban. I'm here to keep you company now." As he spoke, Zhou Shu held Xiao Ban tighter in her arms and patted her back reassuringly. When Xiao Ban turned her head to look at Xiao Wen, she happened to see Xiao Wen, who was being interviewed, flashing a victorious smile and waving her hand at her, saying, "Who is the great hero now?" Instantly, Xiao Ban's mood, which had just improved, became unpleasant again. She immediately buried her head in Zhou Shu's embrace. Seeing this scene, Xiao Wen also felt that she wasn't so happy anymore. On a city street, as the wizard floated along, he suddenly heard a voice coming from a nearby television set. "We have the honor of exclusively interviewing this city's heroine, Lucky Girl." Immediately after, Xiao Wen's image was broadcast on the screen. The wizard, who had stopped walking, also saw the magic pendant hanging on Xiao Wen's neck. Returning to the RV, Xiao Wen was sitting in front of the computer looking up information, while Xiao Ban and Zhou Shu were being affectionate. After finding what she was looking for, Xiao Wen turned around and saw this scene. She could only roll her eyes and then said, "I found photos of the dark magic runes from the Kamita Codex. Look, everyone." As she spoke, she turned the computer screen toward them and added, "It's part of the Bessel spell chain, just like the lucky magic pendant. Besides that, it also includes the fire magic pendant, the black and red magic pendant, the incarnation magic pendant." While Xiao Wen was introducing them, Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban both looked towards the computer screen. The screen displayed 6 magic pendants, including the one around Xiao Wen's neck. "Wow, that's the necklace worn by that pervert mister that Flash Star beat up in the museum. So that's why he wanted to seize the spell codex. It says only the spell codex can unleash the true power of the Bessel spell chain. But he deserves it. Who told him not to take such an important item seriously?" Tian Make, driving the RV, frowned after listening to everything and said to Xiao Wen in the back, "That thing doesn't belong to you. You should return it to the museum." Unfair. X2. This time, Xiao Ban and Xiao Wen surprisingly shared a moment of understanding. After speaking simultaneously, they exchanged a glance and then each said, "I haven't played with it yet. At least Xiao Wen shouldn't be the only one who has. I still need it. The world still needs heroines like Lucky Girl." Before the two of them could say more than a couple of sentences, they started arguing again. "I'm the one with superpowers here." As she spoke, Xiao Ban pointed to the omnitrix on her wrist, while Xiao Wen, equally unwilling to be outdone, stood up and declared, "Now I have superpowers too. Your superpower isn't yours, it belongs to the chain. You're the same, completely relying on that little broken watch. Hey, who says I still have a shoe?" After saying this, Xiao Ban pulled Zhou Shu, who was standing nearby, over. Zhou Shu. Immediately after, Xiao Ban hugged Zhou Shu tightly and mocked Xiao Wen in front of her. "Haha, you're just jealous of me. You." Xiao Wen could only point at Xiao Ban in front of her, enraged and speechless. Seeing this, Xiao Ban gave her a knowing smile, easily winning against Xiao Wen. However, while they were arguing, an important news report came from the radio inside the RV. Strange things happen every year, but this year is especially frequent. According to the latest report, the city's most famous historical haunted house is actually haunted, with over a dozen tourists trapped inside. Grandpa. X2. History is always strikingly similar. Xiao Wen and Xiao Ban once again stood on the same path. After Tian Make drove the RV to bring them to the old, historical haunted house, the group stared at the eerie and terrifying old building before them. Xiao Wen, who had just gotten out of the car, shoved Xiao Ban aside, shouting as she ran, "Get out of the way, I'll do it." Xiao Ban retorted without yielding, "I'm the real hero." Immediately after, she followed Xiao Wen, who had already run some distance ahead, and rushed over with her. Seeing this, Zhou Shu exchanged a look with Tian Make behind her before quickly chasing after the girls. After entering the haunted house, they saw the missing tourists mentioned in the news running one after another toward the entrance. Meanwhile, the tourists on the second floor were thrown to the ground as the handrail swayed violently. Just as Xiao Wen was about to rush up to rescue them, the wizard slowly floated out of a doorway opposite the second floor tourists. He spoke to Xiao Wen downstairs. "I knew you would come, lucky girl, ha 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 ha." After speaking, he shook the bird head cane in his hand, causing the floor beneath the tourists' feet to shake even more violently. "Help, I'm afraid of heights. Save me, I'm still young and don't want to die." Seeing this, Xiao Wen shoved Xiao Ban, who was still fiddling with the dial, into Zhou Shu's arms, leaving Zhou Shu completely bewildered. She then confidently shouted to the tourists on the second floor, "Everyone, please be quiet. Lucky girl is here to save you." After speaking, Xiao Wen ran toward the stairs leading to the second floor. The magic pendant on the wizard's necklace flashed, causing the staircase to begin shaking and shooting wooden planks outward. Seeing this, Zhou Shu quickly hugged Xiao Ban and dodged to the side. Xiao Ban, still in Zhou Shu's arms, kept fiddling with the Omnitrix until the dial popped up. A real hero doesn't need luck. With that, she jumped out of Zhou Shu's arms and slapped the dial. Accompanied by a burst of green light, Xiao Ban transformed into four-armed overlord. At that moment, the wizard waved his hand and lifted the entire second floor decking. The tourists who hadn't managed to escape were suspended in midair, with some occasionally falling, though they were all caught by Tian Make on the first floor. However, a large section of flooring was about to fall. Just then, Xiao Ban, transformed into four-armed overlord, grabbed the support pillar, preventing the people above from falling. Xiao Wen, who hadn't fallen due to her luck, looked at the scene before her and asked Xiao Ban, "Then, what about those tourists up there?" As Xiao Wen finished speaking, the pendant on her neck lit up again, accompanied by the sound of the floor collapsing beneath her feet. Seeing this, Xiao Wen had no choice but to leap toward the chandelier in front of her, saying, "I'll grab the chandelier, you all slide down with me." Subsequently, Xiao Wen swung over with the chandelier and caught the few tourists. They then hung together in midair. Below them, Xiao Ban was flung out by the wizard. Finally, the chandelier could not support the weight of the several people and rapidly dropped toward the ground. But just as they were about to hit the floor, Zhou Shu managed to catch them all. The moment the tourists' feet touched the ground, they bolted toward the door. Just as they awkwardly exited, the main door slammed shut. Xiao Wen couldn't help but freeze. But while she was stunned, the wizard above them used the power of the pendant to snatch Xiao Wen upward and demanded, "Hurry up and give me back the pendant." Just as the wizard was using the magic pendant to pull Xiao Wen over, the magic pendant around Xiao Wen's neck also began to exert force, resulting in a stalemate for a moment. In the end, Xiao Wen gained the upper hand, using the wizard's magic power to pull towards the other side and grabbing the red cloth beside her to cover the wizard. The wizard struggled beneath the red cloth, but during his struggle, he, accidentally, bumped into the armor stand behind him, which promptly crashed down and knocked him to the ground. "You should say, 'Please let me down.'" Seeing this, Xiao Wen quickly ran towards the passage behind her, while Zhou Shu on the other side spat a great fireball towards the spot where the wizard had fallen. However, just as the great fireball was about to hit, he managed to use the magic pendant to repel the armor stand pressing down on him, along with the impending great fireball. After flying up, the wizard quickly chased in the direction Xiao Wen had just left, leaving only a single sentence for Zhou Shu at the scene. "You just wait for me. As soon as I obtain the last magic pendant, my magic power will become invincible in the world." On the other side, after leaving that place, Xiao Wen ran along the path until she entered a room, but the room appeared to have no exit. Subsequently, the magic pendant on Xiao Wen's neck began to exert force again. Xiao Wen casually touched it and opened the head of a nearby statue. Along with the opening of the statue's head, a small path opened beside it. After seeing the small path, Xiao Wen paused for only a moment before walking down. They left in that direction. Joshu pointed to a passage ahead. Seeing this, Tianmake and Xiao Ban behind him also stood up and chased after Joshu. Just as the three of them set off, the wizard had already found the small path Xiao Wen had taken. He looked at the dark path before him and gave a disdainful smile before walking down. Xiao Wen, following the small path, ran until she was completely exhausted before stopping to rest. Before she could rest for long, her gasping attracted the attention of the wizard, who was separated from her by only one wall. The wizard then raised the bird-headed staff in his hand and prepared to charge up lightning to fire in the direction of Xiao Wen's gasping. However, just then, Xiao Wen placed her hand on the stone wall beside her, and with the help of the magic pendant, the stone brick her hand touched immediately fell away. As a result, while the wizard was completely bewildered, a chain reaction caused by that single stone brick led to the tunnel where the wizard was located collapsing. However, the wizard used his magic power to block all the falling stones. Immediately after, he looked up and saw Xiao Wen standing in front of him. Seeing this, Xiao Wen could not care about the still collapsing tunnel and could only immediately run forward. The wizard had just managed to charge up his power and fired directly at Xiao Wen ahead. However, Xiao Wen, accidentally, stepped on a small stone and stumbled to the ground. Because Xiao Wen fell, the wizard's lightning bolt missed the fallen Xiao Wen. Not only that, but the lightning bolt also pierced the wall in front of Xiao Wen. Seeing this, Xiao Wen quickly got up and ran outside. After a fit of powerless rage, the wizard chased after her. Xiao Wen, who had run out, quickly hid behind a tree to observe the wizard as he emerged. But just as Xiao Wen was observing closely, a branch near her foot suddenly grabbed her ankle and lifted her up. Immediately, more branches stretched out, binding her and taking away the magic pendant hanging on her neck. No! After she uttered this final word, her vision went black, and her entire body was bound by branches until Joshu and the other two arrived. Xiao Ban, who had rushed over, pulled Xiao Wen out from the branches. As soon as Xiao Wen got out, she saw the three of them approaching and thanked Xiao Ban. Thanks tilde. Where is he? While Xiao Ban was asking Xiao Wen, Joshu and Tianmake had already walked to the other side. Before them stood the sorcerer, who had gathered all the magic pendants and obtained the Archimata grimoire. Even with his back turned, one could feel the pressure emanating from him. He floated in midair, and the sky around him was no longer filled with starlight but with layers of dark clouds accompanied by bursts of lightning. I will turn this city into a pile of ruins, he said with his back to Joshu and the others. Immediately after, his eyes glowed with golden light, and while wearing the magic pendants around his neck, he began chanting the spells recorded in the grimoire. As he released the spell, the dark clouds in front of him gathered into a mass and continuously dropped lightning toward the ground. Not only that, but the mass of dark clouds also possessed a powerful suction force. People and cars on the ground were sucked up by the force. Seeing this, the pedestrians who were still on the street all ran into buildings. Joshu and Tianmake watched the scene with solemn expressions. Then, before either of them could react, Xiao Ban, who had been behind them, jumped directly toward the sorcerer. While the sorcerer was still chanting his spell, Xiao Ban grabbed him from behind and smashed him down. Seeing Xiao Ban and the sorcerer go down together, Joshu followed suit and jumped down as well. When the sorcerer was grabbed by Xiao Ban and smashed toward the ground, the cars and people that had been caught in the dark clouds all fell back down together. While in the air, Joshu began forming hand seals to release his clones. Once all the Shus landed, they rushed toward the sorcerer in unison. Do not attempt to oppose me, for I am now invincible in this world. After saying this to Xiao Ban, the sorcerer saw the group of Shus. Seeing this, he quickly deactivated his surrounding shield and chanted a spell to release a burst of red smoke, reanimating several stone statues at his feet. Seeing the situation, Xiao Ban immediately spoke to Xiao Wen and Tianmake, who had just come down the stairs. Don't come over, leave this to me and a shoe. Alright, stay safe. After saying that, Xiao Ban began to fight with the flying stone statues, while Joshu and his clones rushed to deal with the other three statues. Just as Xiao Ban threw the stone statue on her face aside, another one crawled over, wrapped its tail around her neck, and threw her, making her stumble. At that moment, another bulkier gargoyle rushed toward Xiao Ban and slammed her against the wall at the very back. With a bang, the area was filled with smoke from Xiao Ban hitting the wall. However, as the smoke dissipated, Xiao Ban stood up while picking up a giant stone sword lying nearby. She walked out, waved her hand at the two gargoyles in front of her, and said, "Come at me again." After speaking, she rushed toward the gargoyles. With just one swing of the sword, she shattered one of the gargoyles in front of her. However, the stone sword in Xiao Ban's hand also shattered along with the gargoyle. Seeing this, Xiao Ban quickly grabbed the remaining gargoyle and destroyed it by forcefully twisting its neck. On the other side, Zhou Shu also quickly finished his battle with the gargoyles. Furthermore, one of Zhou Shu's clones used Chidori to ambush the sorcerer floating in the air, knocking him down. When the sorcerer fell, all the magic pendants he was wearing around his neck also fell off. Seeing this, Xiao Wen quickly ran over and gathered the magic pendants together. Seeing this, the sorcerer looked at Xiao Wen nearby in shock and touched his neck. Once he realized what happened, his expression turned to one of fury, and he walked toward Xiao Wen, intending to snatch the magic pendants back from her hands. But just then, a voice came from behind him. "Your old habit is acting up again. You still haven't worn those magic pendants properly. Now, go down and cool off." As he spoke, Zhou Shu walked up from behind him and kicked him into a nearby grave, then closed the tomb before he could react. "No! How dare you do this to me?" After it was closed, everyone could only hear his impotent rage from inside. After all this was done, everyone's eyes gathered on Xiao Wen, who was holding the magic pendants. Sensing their gaze, Xiao Wen looked at the magic pendants in her hands and said, "Even though these are really powerful and have all sorts of superpowers that could make me a hero, I just want to be myself." After saying that, Xiao Wen casually threw the magic pendants onto a nearby grave, then picked up the shovel handed to her by her grandfather and smashed them to pieces. As the magic pendants shattered, the mana within evaporated, causing the originally cloud-covered sky to return to normal. Seeing that the magic pendants were all destroyed, everyone returned to the RV, while the sorcerer inside the grave was taken away by the police. Back inside the RV, Tian Make, sitting in the driver's seat, praised the three in the back. "You three really are partners with great chemistry, Tilda." "Not really, I don't have superpowers anymore. Actually, your moves were pretty good." Suddenly, Xiao Wen changed her melancholic expression and spoke to Xiao Ban, who was lying on the other side reading a comic book. "Now that I don't have superpowers anymore, why don't you do me a small favor?" "What is it?" Seeing that Xiao Ban was somewhat interested and had even lowered the comic book she was reading to look at her, Xiao Wen continued. "Just admit that I'm really amazing, even though I don't have superpowers now." Hearing Xiao Wen say this, Xiao Ban had no choice but to put down her comic book and spoke to Xiao Wen with a serious face. Sighed Xiao Wen, "You really are amazing." After saying that, Xiao Ban returned to her usual nonchalant manner and said, "Are you satisfied now?" "Very satisfied." "Great. Because I'm never saying it again." "You don't need to tilde." Just as Xiao Wen finished speaking, she pulled out a tape recorder hidden behind her back and pressed play right in front of Xiao Ban. Then, the sentence Xiao Ban had just said played on a loop from the recorder. "Xiao Wen, you really are amazing. Xiao Wen, you really are amazing. Xiao Wen." Hearing her own voice from the recorder, Xiao Ban suddenly felt like she had been tricked. She dived straight into Zhou Shu's arms on the other side and poked her head out to taunt Xiao Wen. "Even if you have that, it doesn't matter, because I still have my Shu," she said while sticking her tongue out at Xiao Wen. Having just changed from his usual clothes into swim trunks, Zhou Shu stepped out of the changing room and looked at the water park before him, unable to help but remark, "Whoa, coming for a swim every once in a while is actually pretty nice." A Shu, how do I look in this?" Hearing Xiao Ban's slightly stuttering voice behind him, Zhou Shu immediately turned his head, wondering what was going on. As soon as he turned around, he saw Xiao Ban blushing as she showed off the swimsuit she was wearing. Being hit with this scene point blank, Zhou Shu suddenly felt a red liquid trickling down from his nose. "A Shu, your nose." Only then, at Xiao Ban's reminder, did Zhou Shu wipe away the nosebleed. He then continued, pretending as if nothing had happened. "It's nothing, don't worry about it." Okay then, so do I look good or not? Of course you look good. Do you even need to ask? As he spoke, Joshu reached out a hand to pat Xiao Ban's head. Enduring the abnormality in his nose, he took one last look before immediately averting his gaze. However, Xiao Ban didn't care about any of that and charged straight into Joshu's arms. Xiao Ban, wait. After catching Xiao Ban in his arms, Joshu's face turned just as red as hers. He could only frantically chant the heart-clearing incantation in his mind, though he felt it didn't have much of an effect. Not only that, but Joshu also felt the gazes of everyone around them turning their way. This made even the usually thick-skinned Joshu feel a bit overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Xiao Ban simply buried her face in his chest, completely oblivious to the stares of others, leaving Joshu alone to endure the public scrutiny. Right then, a notification from the system popped up in his mind. Achievement unlocked, Center of Attention 1000. Joshu heard the system prompt. Although he gained an extra 1,000 interaction points, he still felt quite speechless. Once the other tourists' gazes had mostly moved on, Joshu immediately scooped Xiao Ban up in a princess carry and ran toward a less crowded area. Huff. Xiao Ban, there are way too many people here. Upon hearing Joshu's words, Xiao Ban suddenly went into full actress mode. She looked at Joshu with a pitiful, aggrieved expression and said, "Ashu, don't you like it?" "How could I not? Of course I like it." "Is that so? Then come play that with me." As she spoke, Xiao Ban suddenly pointed to a super long water slide not far from them. Joshu followed the direction of Xiao Ban's finger and saw the water slide, which was full of twists and turns and exceptionally long. Just as he felt he couldn't handle it and wanted to refuse, he turned his head and saw Xiao Ban's little eyes filled with anticipation. Seeing that look, Joshu changed his tune and agreed. "No problem, let's go." "Oh yeah, Ashu, you're the best." After saying that, Xiao Ban jumped out of Joshu's arms and dashed straight toward the water slide. Seeing this, Joshu could only follow her with quick, helpless steps. However, just as Xiao Ban arrived and was ready to start, she saw that Xiao Wen, who was just ahead of her, had already gone through the line. But when Xiao Ban tried to go through, a hand suddenly reached out to stop her, and a voice said, "You're too short. You haven't reached the required height to ride." "What did you say?" While Xiao Ban was in disbelief, the staff member pointed to a height chart nearby. Even without him saying anything else, Xiao Ban could feel that she was indeed a bit short. Oh how annoying. Next. By this time, Joshu had caught up. He arrived to see Xiao Ban standing there with a sour face. He asked her in confusion. "Xiao Ban, what's wrong? Why aren't you playing?" Hearing Joshu's voice, Xiao Ban's expression immediately turned into a pitiful pout. "Ashu," he said, "I'm not tall enough, so I can't ride this." "Ah, I see. Then what should we do?" "I've got it. Ashu, wait for me a moment." Just as Xiao Ban was about to go to the back to use the Omnitrix to transform, Xiao Wen, who had already passed the line, walked back. She compared her height to Xiao Ban's and mocked her. "Sorry, I heard the little baby banana boat is also quite fun, ha ha ha." After saying that, Xiao Wen didn't give Xiao Ban any chance to retaliate. She immediately went back to the line and made a face at Xiao Ban, who was left standing there. Seeing this, Joshu quickly comforted Xiao Ban. All right, Xiao Ban, go ahead." Hearing Joshu's words, Xiao Ban walked toward an empty area, muttering to herself as she went, "Once I turn into Big Steel Tooth, I can play whatever I want." Finally, she walked behind a pillar. After checking that no one was around, Xiao Ban dialed the Omnitrix's faceplate and slammed it down. However, the Omnitrix's faceplate didn't depress. Seeing this, Xiao Ban slapped it again, but the result was the same. "You little broken watch, whose side are you on anyway?" Finally, Xiao Ban raised her wrist and smashed the little broken watch directly against the pillar behind her. After a violent flash of green light, Xiao Ban didn't turn into Big Steel Tooth, instead, she turned into 4 arms. Just after transforming, Xiao Ban looked at her hands and found them to be extremely small. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief and looked at her hands again, but naturally, there was no change. "No. Why? You little broken watch, you're playing me. How hateful. Everything's ruined. However, right at that moment, Xiao Ban felt the ground beneath her feet vibrate. She looked up and saw several little kids charging in her direction. Seeing this, Xiao Ban had to use her agility to dodge the kids' footsteps. Then, she ran back toward Zhou Shu. As she was coming over, she saw the staff member who hadn't let her play on the water slide chatting with another staff member. Seeing this, Xiao Ban immediately changed direction and ran straight toward that staff member. When she reached his feet, she tied the laces of his two shoes together. But just as Xiao Ban finished doing this, she was accidentally spotted by the other staff member. Seeing 4 arms, which Xiao Ban had transformed into, tying his colleague's shoelaces together, he pointed down at her and said, "Look, what is that thing? I'm going to catch it." Just as he was about to grab Xiao Ban, Zhou Shu ran over. Before the staff member could react, Zhou Shu had already tucked Xiao Ban into his arms and hidden her. Then he jumped onto the water slide and slid down. Just as they went down, the staff member whose shoelaces were tied by Xiao Ban also happened to trip and fall at the other's reminder. After sliding all the way down the water slide, Zhou Shu put Xiao Ban, who was in his arms, into the water in front of him and said, "Xiao Ban, you were almost taken away by someone just now, do you know that? Luckily I reacted quickly. Don't do such dangerous things again next time." Seeing that Zhou Shu was truly a bit angry, Xiao Ban immediately softened and coaxed him. "I know, a Shu. I definitely won't do it again next time. Just forgive me this once, okay? Tilda." Zhou Shu, who was originally still a bit angry, couldn't help but burst out laughing after hearing Xiao Ban say those words in the voice of 4 arms. "Ha ha ha, Xiao Ban, your voice right now is really funny. Ha ha ha." Hearing Zhou Shu's laughter, Xiao Ban knew his anger had vanished without a trace, and she immediately felt a sense of relief. Just as she wanted to say something more, a hand suddenly reached out from beneath the water nearby and grabbed Xiao Ban right in front of Zhou Shu. "I finally found you, strange alien. A Shu, a Shu. Zhou Shu." Following that, the person ignored Zhou Shu and the screaming Xiao Ban in his hand, heading straight for the exit of the swimming pool. However, just as one of his feet stepped outside the pool, he was tripped by the now reacting Zhou Shu. Not yet satisfied after tripping him, Zhou Shu grabbed the arm of the hand that was tightly clutching Xiao Ban and performed a shoulder throw, slamming him into the water. He then caught Xiao Ban as she fell from the air. "Ah, what are you doing? Hand her over to me immediately." Even so, he refused to give up and shouted at Zhou Shu. "She's mine. That alien is mine." Not only that, he even tried to stand up to snatch Xiao Ban from Zhou Shu's palm. Seeing this, Zhou Shu added a kick to his head, knocking him unconscious instantly. Still afraid the man might drown there, Zhou Shu kindly dragged him back to a dry spot. This scene drew the gazes of almost all the tourists around, but after experiencing what Xiao Ban had done earlier, Zhou Shu felt he didn't care much about others' stares anymore. Then, under the bewildered gazes of the crowd, he dropped the man on the ground. While dragging him, people occasionally came over to ask what happened, but Zhou Shu's uniform reply was, he hit his head while swimming and broke his brain, which is why he passed out. After each answer, Zhou Shu ignored the tourists, simply left him on the ground, and walked away from the scene. The tourists looked at each other after seeing this, then stopped caring and went back to their own business. After leaving, Zhou Shu took Xiao Ban to find Tian Make and Xiao Wen. Since Xiao Ban had transformed into 4 arms, she could no longer participate in the entertainment activities here. When the man who had fainted woke up, he realized the alien he had caught had vanished. Feeling a surge of regret, he suddenly remembered something, took out his phone, and dialed a number. "Hello, I found an alien you guys want, but there's a very powerful person with her and I can't catch her. Please send some people over to help me." "Is that so? Wait for them to arrive. But if I find out you're lying, you know the consequences." "Yes, yes." After saying that, the person on the other end hung up. Seeing this, he could only put his phone away and wait for the helpers to arrive. After finishing the call and hearing the response from the other side, he left the water park and returned to his car to wait for their arrival. After a while, a black sedan drove toward where he was parked and stopped. Then, armored warriors, wearing armor with brown trench coats over them, stepped out of the vehicle. Seeing them approach, he hurriedly got out of the car and pointed toward the RV where Xiao Ban was, saying, "Right there. The alien you need is right there." "Understood. Get in the car and wait." As he spoke, one of the armored warriors impatiently reached out and pushed the meddlesome researcher toward the car behind him. Having been pushed, he stumbled and nearly fell in front of the car door before quickly steadying himself and getting inside. Just then, Joshu and the others had already driven away. Seeing this, the warriors immediately got into their car and gave chase in the direction they had left. On the RV, Xiao Ban had not yet transformed back into his human form. Tian Make, who was driving, asked Xiao Ban, who was sitting in Joshu's palm. "How did you do that? You still haven't changed back." "How should I know? It's clearly a problem with this little broken watch." "I think it's your fault, you blockhead," Xiao Wen added. "It is not." Xiao Ban was so angry after hearing the truth from Xiao Wen that he hopped around in Joshu's palm. Seeing this, Joshu had to soothingly extend a finger to rub Xiao Ban's head. Xiao Ban then realized he was currently in Joshu's palm and stopped jumping, instead sitting petulantly at the very edge of his palm. Xiao Wen, sitting behind them, saw this and continued to twist the knife. "See, I hit the nail on the head, didn't I? You don't even dare to speak up now." However, just as Xiao Wen was about to continue, Joshu freed a hand and held up his index finger to signal her to be quiet. Seeing this, Xiao Wen rolled her eyes, indicating she couldn't stomach their public display of affection, so she stopped talking. But as Joshu turned to gesture to Xiao Wen, he also noticed a black sedan closely following them. Using his Sharingan, he saw the researcher who had tried to kidnap Xiao Ban earlier, as well as 4 armored warriors. Seeing this, Joshu said to Tian Make in the driver's seat, "Grandpa Tian, it seems like there's a sedan that has been following us." Hearing Joshu's words, Tian Make immediately understood his meaning and made a turn in a different direction at the next intersection. Joshu looked back again, and naturally, they were still following. He was now certain they were being tailed. Combining this with the researcher in the car who wanted to take Xiao Ban, it was obvious they hadn't given up and were back to capture him. At that thought, a surge of nameless anger rose in Joshu's heart. He then said to the still driving Tian Make, "Grandpa Tian, drive to a deserted place first. Let me just knock them unconscious, change into their clothes, and then have one of them lead me to their lair. That might be too dangerous. How about we just try to lose them?" Yeah, Ashu, it's too dangerous. Besides, I'm 4 arms right now and have no way to help you." "It's fine. Let's do it." "Alright, stay safe." "Understood, Grandpa Tian." After saying that, Tian Make drove the car toward the outskirts of the city, while the warriors behind them continued to follow, completely unaware. Sitting in the back seat, Joshu looked at the medieval-style castle ahead. The driver in front of him was one of the armored warriors who had been following them, but at this moment, a faint reflection of the 3 Tomo from Joshu's Sharingan could be seen in his eyes. Xiao Ban was currently sitting in the palm of Joshu's hand, while Tian Make and Xiao Wen followed behind in the old RV. The expressions of the 3 were full of shock when they saw the castle, except for Tian Make. After all, they had never seen such a luxurious place. Upon arrival, Joshu directly controlled the driver to stop at the castle gates, while Tian Make and Xiao Wen parked on a small hill on the outskirts to watch them through binoculars. In the car, Joshu kicked the door open and released his control over all the armored warriors, causing them all to faint. Xiao Ban, who had crawled from his palm to his shoulder, saw that Joshu intended to break into the castle single-handedly and couldn't help but feel a bit worried. "Ashu, are you really going to be okay alone?" "It's fine, don't I have you? I can count on you at the critical moment." After saying this, Joshu pushed open the wooden door in front of him. On the hill, Xiao Wen grew anxious seeing this scene and quickly said to her grandfather, who was preparing a bug feast nearby, "Grandpa, Brother Shu just broke in all by himself. Will something happen to him?" "Relax, Xiao Wen. You have to believe in your brother Joshu. I believe that boy wouldn't rush in without any preparation." "Alright, but Grandpa, this feast of yours is really gross." "Xiao Wen, what do you know? This is true delicacy." After speaking, Tian Make sniffed the bowl of bugs with an intoxicated expression, making Xiao Wen feel a wave of nausea. While Xiao Wen and Tian Make were bickering, Joshu had already fought his way through with Xiao Ban, arriving before the true leader of the armored warriors. Joshu casually tossed aside the unconscious grunt he had been holding. It was only then that the leader sitting in the center slowly controlled his chair to turn and face the two of them. The man wore black chainmail featuring the same emblem found on all the armored warriors. He wore a stern golden mask and an undecorated black crown on his head. He spoke to Joshu in a low voice, "I don't care who you are. As long as you hand over that alien on your shoulder, I can act as if none of this ever happened. Hey, in your dreams." After speaking, Joshu directly gathered Chidori in his palm and lunged toward the seated man to pierce him. Seeing this, the man flipped the table in front of him and rolled to the side, dodging the Chidori sharp spear attack. He then casually picked up an iron sword from the ground to confront Joshu. "Boss, catch!" Suddenly, a voice came from the boss's side, and a laser sword flew toward the area across from Joshu. In the instant they heard and saw it, he and Joshu made completely different choices. After activating his Sharingan, Joshu immediately used a great fireball to intercept the opponent. Seeing this, the opponent hurriedly changed his position. Unfortunately, he did not dodge Joshu's great fireball because of it. Instead, he missed the opportunity to grab the laser sword. "You fell for it, brat. This was my escape route all along." With a bang, he was knocked back by Joshu's great fireball, smashing through the glass behind him before hitting the ground, kicking up a large cloud of dust. By the time Joshu looked over, the man had already disappeared. After the battle ended, Joshu called the two from the hilltop down. While the four of them were cleaning up the battlefield, they discovered a secret room filled with alien technology. Seeing this, the tiny Xiao Ban immediately thought of a good idea. Xiao Ban told the other three the plan, and after receiving their consent, immediately began to operate. Standing outside the castle, the four of them felt a pang of regret as they looked at the luxurious castle about to explode. The moment Joshu turned to leave, a series of bangs and explosions rang out, forming the shape of Patrick's star. Joshu did not look back. After all, real men never look back at explosions. After the explosion finished, Xiao Ban reverted to the cute lowly form amidst a flash of red light, still shouting, "Art is an explosion." Ever since waking up this morning, Joshu felt a large portion of his chakra disappear. Although it wasn't severe, the uncomfortable sensation was hard to bear until the system's voice echoed deep in his mind. System upgraded. The complete collection of Sharingan pupil techniques is now open for exchange. The lottery pool has also been upgraded. It no longer just contains Naruto items but can also pull items and abilities from other worlds. A new Q&A function has been added to answer any host questions regarding the system. Since the upgrade consumed a large amount of the host's chakra, compensation and upgrade rewards will be issued together. See the system announcement for details. After speaking, the system vanished immediately without giving Joshu a chance to react. Seeing this, Joshu could only open the system panel to check the rewards. Upon opening it, he realized the upgrade hadn't changed much, only adding 2 sections. He then clicked on the system announcement and saw 1. Compensation. Random 10 pull, 50,000 interaction points. 2. Upgrade rewards. 1 random S-rank ninjutsu, 1 random A-rank ninjutsu, 25,000 interaction points. Advanced 3 body technique, body flicker technique, body binding technique, invisibility technique. Although it was only a few short lines, Joshu was stunned into silence after reading them. It wasn't until Xiao Ban, who had just woken up, came over and nudged him that he snapped out of his shock. "Ashu, what's wrong?" "Nothing, I'm just a bit happy." "Why are you up so early? Why not sleep a bit longer?" "I missed you a bit, couldn't sleep." Seeing this, Joshu could only look dotingly at Xiao Ban, who was hugging him and acting spoiled as soon as she got up. All right, I missed you too. Go wash up, then come back." "Okay." Joshu smiled and gently pinched Xiao Ban's pouting lips before watching her run off to wash up with a blushing face. While she was gone, he continued checking the system announcement. 3. Random S-rank ninjutsu. Obtained Amaterasu, already automatically equipped to the host Sharingan. Random A-rank ninjutsu. Obtained Rasengan. 4. Random 10 pull has been sent to the lottery interface, please check it yourself. By now, Zhou Shu had recovered from his shock. Seeing that he had obtained another pupil technique made him quite excited. After all, pupil techniques didn't need to be learned, whereas the newly acquired Rasengan required practice to release. Though, he couldn't use Amaterasu too much for now. He then went to the lottery interface and performed a 10 pull, chanting, get the goods, in his heart. After a meteor streaked across the clouds and shattered into 10 small shooting stars, Zhou Shu saw a golden legend hidden among them. He quickly skipped the useless items. Kusanagi Sword ×1, a weapon used by Sasuke and Orochimaru in Naruto. It possesses powerful cutting and piercing abilities. The blade is incredibly hard, capable of easily cutting through various objects, and can release chakra energy for attacks. Zhou Shu was extremely happy looking at the golden legend he just obtained. After all, he had been fighting with kunai before, and now he finally had a powerful weapon. The next item was a purple item. Life card ×1 modified by the system to directly record someone's life essence. It changes according to the owner's life status. It helps the user find the card owner's location, guiding the way even from a great distance. Looks like luck is on his side today, getting so many good things. He'd use this life card on Xiao Ban first. Just then, Xiao Ban returned and dove straight into Zhou Shu's arms. Seeing this, Zhou Shu immediately used the life card to record Xiao Ban's essence. Naruto Ninjutsu System 1. System Space 39. 2. System Mall. 3. Achievements 6. 4. Interaction points 76,000. 5. Ninjutsu 6. 6. Bloodline Limit Mangekyo Sharingan Abilities, Amaterasu in addition, nullify. 7. Daily obtainable interaction points 1000 refreshes at midnight. 8. System announcement. 9. System dialogue. System mall. Selectable S-rank ninjutsu, 75,000 interaction points. Selectable A-rank ninjutsu, 50,000 interaction points. Selectable B-rank ninjutsu, 25,000 interaction points. Selectable C-rank ninjutsu, 15,000 interaction points. All random lottery, 1000 pull 10, only single pulls or 10 pulls supported. Selectable Sharingan pupil technique, 72,000 interaction points. How is it? A shoe, super cool, right? It really is too cool. Then let's just chase after them. From a bystander's perspective, a youth was riding a motorcycle, predominantly black with green lines and a logo in the center, chasing another red convertible sports car. Meanwhile, Xiao Wen was observing the two crazed individuals through the RV window. Grandpa, those two are truly insane, driving so fast. Young people these days they're just full of energy. Returning to the two speeding figures, just as the other person was about to pull away, Xiao Ban used a card carrier trailer ahead to take flight, drawing everyone's gaze. Seeing that he still hadn't shaken off Zhou Shu riding the Xiao Ban brand motorcycle, the man floored the gas and surged forward. Just as he passed an intersection, a small truck blocked Zhou Shu's path. Seeing this, Zhou Shu leapt directly off Xiao Ban. Xiao Ban slid underneath the truck, and just as Xiao Ban straightened out on the other side, Zhou Shu cleared the roof and used the body flicker technique to land back on Xiao Ban. Cool. We did it. Don't be in a hurry, Xiao Ban, it's not over yet. The person driving the sports car ahead saw Zhou Shu's bizarre maneuver through the rearview mirror, and his glasses nearly fell off in shock. Seeing that there was nothing left to block him, Zhou Shu fired a Chidori sharp spear at the red sports car's trunk. It pierced through, causing the trunk to pop open, and the stolen money inside began to flutter away in the wind. Witnessing this, Xiao Ban joked to Zhou Shu, some people just aren't meant to save money. Then, a green spike grew out of Xiao Ban's tire. He quickly closed the distance to the sports car, and as they drew level, Xiao Ban used the spike to burst its tire, forcing it to a sudden stop at the roadside. Just as the two of them successfully stopped his escape, the wail of police sirens echoed behind them. Seeing this, Zhou Shu dismounted Xiao Ban and walked over to take down the robber, waiting for the police to arrive. At that moment, while no one was paying attention, Xiao Ban noticed an ice cream truck parked around the corner. Seeing no one around, Xiao Ban quickly retracted from the motorcycle form, opened the ice cream truck's freezer compartment, and climbed inside. To avoid being found, he even specifically closed the door behind him. On the other side, Zhou Shu handed the robber over to the police, while the man kept rambling to the officers about what had just happened. That boy just jumped over a truck. Believe me, it's true. The suspect might have suffered some brain trauma, his mental state is a bit unstable right now. Clearly, the officer didn't believe a word the robber said. He even spoke into his radio about the man's mental issues. Seeing this, the robber could only give up and follow the police back. Just then, Tian Mei and Xiao Wen arrived. They only saw Zhou Shu standing there alone. Seeing this, Tian Mei asked, "Xiao Shu, where is Xiao Ban?" Xiao Wen, standing next to Tian Mei, pointed casually toward the ice cream truck at the corner. "It's obvious the big hero is over there." The three of them walked over and opened the freezer. At a glance, they saw Xiao Ban sitting inside holding a popsicle, shivering from the cold. Seeing this, Tian Mei asked, "Are you okay?" "Achoo. Well, it looks like something is wrong." Seeing this, Zhou Shu took a tissue from his pocket to wipe away the mucus Xiao Ban had just sneezed out. He then picked Xiao Ban up and walked toward the RV while Tian Mei watched with a puzzled expression. Seeing this scene, Tian Mei asked Xiao Wen, who had a knowing smirk on her face, "Xiao Wen, don't you think this is a bit strange?" Hearing her grandfather's voice, Xiao Wen immediately wiped the smile off her face and guiltily explained for them, "No, isn't this normal?" After saying that, she also ran toward the RV, leaving a confused Tian Mei standing there at a loss. Fine, young people these days are truly hard to understand. When Tian Mei returned to the vehicle, he saw Xiao Ban lying down, Zhou Shu getting hot water for him, and Xiao Wen preparing cold medicine. Cold medicine, fever reducers, cough syrup, medical masks, okay, that's everything. I don't need that junk. I didn't prepare these for a blockhead like you. These are for my own use. I don't want to get infected by you. Let's see if you ever dare to sneak ice cream again. Seeing the two about to start bickering again while Zhou Shu was busy with the water, Tian Mei hurriedly spoke up to change the subject. "The prescription Xiao Ban needs right now is my specialty, mulberry and chrysanthemum tea. It just so happens that Chinatown is not far ahead." Chinatown. Zhou Shu heard the word just as he returned. "That's right. If I remember correctly, Xiao Shu, you're also from Z country, aren't you?" "Yeah, but come to think of it, I haven't been to Chinatown many times." Zhou Shu handed the warm water to Xiao Ban on the bed and continued. "It just so happens I haven't had food from my hometown in a long time. Let's go have a meal together." "Yay. Achoo." Seeing this, Zhou Shu again took out a tissue to wipe away the snot from Xiao Ban's sneeze. "Alright, Xiao Ban, just be good and sleep. I'll wake you when we get there." After saying that, Zhou Shu tucked Xiao Ban in. Turning around, he saw Xiao Wen staring at them while scribbling in a notebook. Noticing Zhou Shu's gaze, Xiao Wen immediately acted nonchalant and slowly shuffled away. As they entered Chinatown, they saw lanterns and decorations everywhere. There were even people performing a dragon dance. The area was packed with people, creating a truly grand atmosphere. Wow, this is so grand. This was the first time Xiao Ban and Xiao Wen had seen a dragon dance. Indeed, Z country is the oldest existing nation, and its culture is profound. The group continued forward and soon found a pharmacy. Upon entering, they were greeted by a wall covered in cabinets of all sizes, which once again broadened the two children's horizons. The middle-aged owner only glanced up before returning to his ledger. He asked casually, "What do you need?" Zhou Shu walked over and spoke to the owner in Chinese. "Boss, we need some mulberry leaves and chrysanthemum to make mulberry and chrysanthemum tea." "Oh, a fellow countryman. It's to treat that little girl's cold, right? Wait a moment, I'll get it for you now." "Sure, thanks, boss." Seeing the owner get up to fetch the medicine, Zhou Shu turned back and gave an "okay" sign to the three behind him. After searching for a bit, the owner found that the fresh mulberry leaves and chrysanthemums were sold out, leaving only the freeze-dried ones. "Hey, young man, I only have the dried ones left. I'll put them in a jar for you." "That's fine, we'll be going then." After receiving the jar from the owner, Zhou Shu took out some money and handed it over. After paying the bill, the group walked out of the store. "Xiao Shu, how much was that? Let me pay you back." "It's fine, Grandpa Tian." You're taking care of me this summer break, this little bit of money is nothing. All right then. Seeing that Zhou Shu insisted on not taking his money, Tian Mei didn't push further. He changed the subject and spoke to Xiao Ban beside him. When we get back, I'll make some mulberry and chrysanthemum tea for you. It can dispel wind heat, clear heat and detoxify, and relieve coughing and asthma. We can even add some rock sugar. Grandpa, where did you learn all this? Upon hearing his granddaughter Xiao Wen's question, he answered subconsciously, a monk in Guangdong, country Z, taught me. After speaking, Tian Mei saw the disbelief in Xiao Wen's eyes. It's true. Country Z has plumbing issues too, okay. Just then, a middle-aged woman walked up to a podium not far away and spoke into the microphone in front of her. Fellow citizens, I want to thank everyone here for supporting the urban renewal project I've been pushing. This is truly a dream come true. While she was giving her speech, bugs began to emerge from out of nowhere. The appearance of these insects made the originally happy atmosphere turn eerie. Even the audience's attention began to drift, until another voice rang out from beside her. It should be a nightmare, ha 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 ha. Beside her stood a green-skinned freak. He wore a black trench coat underneath with a hat covering his eyes, and a tattered cotton coat over the top. At that moment, he was standing on a massive swarm of locusts, hovering in midair. He then controlled the insects to form a giant hand to grab the woman on the podium, while releasing bugs everywhere to harass the other bystanders. None of you will even think about tearing down our apartment. Hearing his words, she immediately recognized the freak's identity. You're that freak who refuses to move out. That's right, it's me. Now I'm going to invite you to my house for dinner. Of course, the main course is you, ha 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 ha. Seeing this, Xiao Ban and Zhou Shu immediately split up. Xiao Ban went to the side to use the little broken watch to transform, while Zhou Shu ran toward the freak. As he ran, he continuously used Great Fireball to attack him, but they were all blocked by a wall of insects controlled by the freak. After spotting Zhou Shu, the freak merely glanced at him before grabbing the woman and preparing to fly away. As he left, he shouted, "Stupid brat, don't get in my way." Seeing this, Zhou Shu used Chidori's sharp spear to pierce a large hole through the insect arm. Unfortunately, it was useless. In just an instant, the hole was filled back up by bugs. Seeing another large patch of his insects die, he turned back with an angry face and threatened Zhou Shu, "Brat, you just wait. Once I deal with this woman, you won't escape either." Then, he flew away right in front of Zhou Shu. Without using the Sharingan, there's no way to keep him here. Seeing that he had left, Zhou Shu turned around only to see Super Beast, who had lost its sense of smell due to a cold, crashing around everywhere with Xiao Wen. At the sight, Zhou Shu wordlessly covered his eyes with his palm. As the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. After that farce ended, the group returned to the RV. Tian Mei handed the freshly brewed mulberry and chrysanthemum tea to Xiao Ban, who was sitting on the bed. Drink up. It's because of your cold that Super Beast lost its sense of direction, and your other alien heroes will definitely be affected too. So drink it quickly so you can get better. Hearing that it would affect all the alien heroes, Xiao Ban took the cup of tea from his grandfather. After taking a sniff, Xiao Ban immediately pulled it away. That is seriously gross. Do I really have to drink this? Actually, it doesn't taste that bad, or was it that it doesn't smell that bad? Tian Mei shook his head, not dwelling on it. Seeing this, Xiao Ban could only take a massive gulp. You just need to drink it for a few more days, and you'll get used to the taste. After saying that, Tian Mei stopped bothering Xiao Ban and went to attend to his own business. But Xiao Ban then took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to him and hid the rest of the tea in the cabinet next to the bed. I'm so smart. As long as no one finds out, I've finished it. What did you say? Zhou Shu, who had just walked over, saw Xiao Ban muttering something. Nothing. Did you guys find his hiding place? Just then, Xiao Wen, who had been looking up information, suddenly said, found it. Don't tear down their apartment. That Mr. Bug mentioned refers to the only old apartment building in the city center that hasn't been demolished yet. It's 86 Dorchester Street. Inside the old apartment at that moment. Please don't hurt me. She watched in terror as a swarm of spiders crawled all over her. Mr. Bug simply stepped out from the shadows and lectured her, "These are black widows. You'd better not move recklessly. Our grandfather built this apartment. We grew up here. They and I depend on each other for survival." As he spoke, dense swarms of insects crawled out from all directions. He turned and stared intently at the woman. "In this world, only they understand me best. No one can drive us away." After Tien Make parked the RV outside the old apartment, he spoke to the three behind him. "We're here. This is the place." As soon as she got out of the car, Xiao Wen critiqued the exterior of the dilapidated apartment. "It's okay for a visit, but if you wanted me to live here, that's a hard no." Zhou Shu nodded in agreement. Then, the group entered together. Seeing the dilapidated state inside, Tien Make quickly warned them, "Don't wander off." They continued forward. Along the way, they could see holes everywhere, and the ceiling beams were covered in swarms of insects. "This place is really a dump. I don't understand how he can live here," Zhou Shu complained to Xiao Ban with a look of disgust as they walked. Xiao Ban nodded solemnly in agreement. Just then, the woman's voice came from above their heads. "Help!" Hearing the voice, Zhou Shu immediately jumped up through a hole in the ceiling. With a thud, as he landed, Zhou Shu appeared before the two of them. "All right, freak, you won't escape this time." Then, Zhou Shu pulled the Kusanagi sword from the system space and ran his hand over it, coating it with his lightning attribute chakra. "I hadn't gone looking for you yet, and here you are delivering yourself to my door." He also controlled all the nearby insects to swarm over, forming a pair of giant insect hands to grab Zhou Shu. Seeing this, Zhou Shu casually slashed with the Kusanagi sword to cut them down, but it didn't do much. The insects restored themselves a moment later. Knowing that Zhou Shu couldn't pose much of a threat to him, he began to mock him. "Useless, useless, useless. Weak, too weak." Seeing that the Kusanagi sword was ineffective, Zhou Shu casually stored it back into the system space and conjured a Rasengan in his right hand, charging straight in. With a bang, if he hadn't sensed the danger and quickly controlled the insects from the giant hands to return and wrap around his body, he wouldn't have been able to continue. However, while he withstood Zhou Shu's Rasengan, his apartment did not. It began to shake precariously. Seeing this, Zhou Shu quickly turned to Xiao Ban, who had already transformed into four-armed overlord, and shouted, "Quick, get that person out of here. This place is about to collapse." "Don't worry, Shu." After saying that, Xiao Ban used 3 of her arms to grab the woman, Tien Make, and Xiao Wen respectively and fled outside. Once he saw they were safe, Zhou Shu turned his gaze back to the freak. "No. My apartment. Our home," he wailed while controlling the insects to carry him, constantly dodging the wooden planks falling from above. "Brat, you've really annoyed me. Now, I only need to go to that place to destroy this entire city." After saying that, he flew away with the insects in the blink of an eye, giving Zhou Shu no chance to react. Zhou Shu then returned to Xiao Ban's side just before the apartment completely collapsed. The group watched as the apartment building before them began to collapse. First came a rumbling roar, followed by a swirl of dust and debris as the entire building crumbled to the ground in just a few moments. "Strange things happen every year, but there are especially many this year," she said, rubbing her forehead. After resting for a moment, she stood back up. "We've seen plenty of strange things," Xiao Wen chimed in, agreeing with the statement. "All right, I need to go back and continue pushing the plan forward now." After saying that, she started to leave, but after only 2 steps, she turned back around. "Oh right, thank you guys, and that, where's that big 4-armed fellow?" She looked around but couldn't see 4-armed overlord anywhere. She only saw Xiao Ban, who had already changed back. "Never mind, I'll let you guys thank him for me." "All right, I'll tell him." "Okay, then I'll be going now." This time she truly left. Zhou Shu and the others returned to the RV parked nearby and headed straight toward the nuclear power plant on the mountain. He said he would destroy the entire city, so his target must be here. Exactly. This is the only nuclear power plant that could allow him to destroy the whole city. While they were discussing, Xiao Ban suddenly interjected, "Grandpa, turn on the heater. I'm really freezing to death." "It's already on, but you're shaking like a sieve." "Xiao Wen, go get another bottle of my special mulberry and chrysanthemum tea for Xiao Ban to drink." Hearing that she had to drink another cup of that incredibly bitter stuff, Xiao Ban immediately changed her tune. No need. I mean, I don't feel that bad anymore. I'm sure my cold will get better very soon. Then, Xiao Wen used the computer to look up information about insects and started lecturing the shivering Xiao Ban until she reached her final point. We need to roast some bugs with fire. Then I know who's best at playing with fire. After entering the nuclear power plant, Xiao Ban was still shivering non-stop. Seeing this, Joshu took out the Akatsuki organization uniform he had previously drawn from the system space and draped it over Xiao Ban. Xiao Ban felt a wave of warmth spread through her entire body. Ashu, where did you get this outfit? I haven't seen it before. I bought it a while ago, I just haven't worn it until now. As they were chatting, the alarms overhead suddenly began to flash, accompanied by a piercing sound. Ah, what's going on? Is it bad? Hearing Xiao Ban ask such a question, Xiao Wen couldn't take it anymore and snapped back. No, a blaring alarm in a nuclear power plant is definitely not a bad thing. It's great news, blockhead. Just as Xiao Wen finished speaking, another alarm sounded. Core reactor temperature is too high. Overload imminent. Hearing the alarm, Tianmake immediately said to the group, he must be messing around in the core reactor control center. Let's go, quick. They ran toward the smoking control center. Upon entering, they saw that the interior had been destroyed. Electricity was sparking from the consoles, and the alarms were blaring chaotically. The reactor is out of control. It must be shut down manually. What should we do? There should be an emergency manual shutdown system on the exterior of the reactor. At a time like this, Xiao Wen still felt like joking. Let me guess, your knowledge of reactors was also learned from a monk. Just then, Xiao Wen noticed several insects crawling past her feet. Immediately after, the insect monster approached from the path they had just taken. Come to watch the show, have you? If this place blows up, you'll be blown to bits just like us. That's where you're wrong. After saying that, he controlled the cockroaches in front of them to completely envelop his body, turning into a true insect man. After the reactor's high-temperature explosion, we insects can survive the disaster. While he was still gloating, Joshu had already snuck behind him from Xiao Ban's side. Accompanied by the sharp sound of the chidori, Joshu pierced right through him from behind. Yay! Ashu, you're amazing. Then, before the shocked eyes of the insect monster, the Joshu that had been standing in front of him made a poof sound and turned into a cloud of smoke. Joshu shook the cockroach fluid off his hand with some disgust, then took out a tissue to thoroughly wipe his hand clean before looking at the insect monster nearby. Suddenly, Joshu noticed something was wrong. Not a single drop of blood flowed from the hole. The insect monster then spoke. That was really close, kid. Now it's my turn. As he spoke, he swung a massive fist made of insects, repeatedly smashing toward Joshu. Bang, 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 bang. Too slow, too slow. At your speed, there's no way you can touch me. Joshu continuously dodged his fists, occasionally using chidori to slice off an arm. Unfortunately, the monster could quickly use the insects to restore his limbs every time. While Joshu was entangled with the insect monster, a freezing beam suddenly flew in from the side, encasing the entire insect monster in ice. How's that, Ashu? Nice work. After freezing the insect monster, the two of them ran downward as the alarm announced, 30 seconds remaining. Seeing that Xiao Ban's color was different from the usual fire man, Xiao Wen instinctively asked, Xiao Ban, why is your color so weird? There's no time for you to tease me, this thing is about to explode. Just then, Tianmake provided more bad news. The manual switches here have all failed. Seeing this, Joshu immediately thought of a good idea. Xiao Ban, quickly fire your freezing beam at the nuclear reactor. Hearing Joshu's words, Xiao Ban immediately aimed both hands at the nuclear reactor and released the freezing beam. In just a short while, she lowered the temperature of the reactor that was about to explode. Blockhead, when did you turn into an automatic ice maker? In the end, it was the great hero Xiao Ban who saved the day. Woohoo! Then, a flash of red light occurred, and the blue fire man turned back into Xiao Ban. Alright, this business is finally over. Let's go. After saying that, the group walked outside and shortly after drove away from the nuclear power plant. In the car, Xiao Ban discovered that her heavy cold had also been cured, and she couldn't stop talking. The reactor cooled down, the bad guy got frozen, and my cold is cured. I have to say, this feels great. Sitting in the driver's seat, Tianmei agreed with his granddaughter's words. The feeling of everything going smoothly is indeed wonderful. However, as Xiao Wen was taking yogurt out of the refrigerator, she spotted a cockroach by her foot again. Sorry, Mr. Cockroach, it might hurt a bit if I squash you, so please bear with it. Just as Xiao Wen was about to step down, a dense swarm of cockroaches emerged from behind her. They're back. The bugs are back again. Hearing Xiao Wen's shout, Zhou Shu and Xiao Ban turned around and saw the floor covered in cockroaches. He controlled the insects to stop the car, then opened the door and walked straight in. Hey, didn't expect me to still be around, did you, brats? You really are persistent. What you did to us at the nuclear power plant made us very unhappy. Now, it's time for revenge. While he was still talking, Tianmei threw a punch, but the monster grabbed his arm and gave him a shoulder throw. Seeing this, Xiao Wen grabbed a fire extinguisher from the side and sprayed it at the insect monster while asking Xiao Ban beside her. Didn't you already turn him into a popsicle? He must have melted. Why is the little broken watch malfunctioning at a time like this? Zhou Shu used a Rasengan on him, blowing him out of the car, but he flew back in after a short while. Useless, useless, useless. Before he could finish, Xiao Ban grabbed the leftover mulberry and chrysanthemum tea from the bedside cabinet and threw it out the window. The insects on the monster's body all flew out after it. Seeing this, Zhou Shu knocked the insect-less monster unconscious against the guardrail with a single punch. Then, he said to Tianmei, who had just stood up. Grandpa Tian, hurry and call the police. Let the police handle him. All right, Xiao Shu, I'll call as soon as I catch my breath. At this time, Xiao Ban also walked out of the RV, looked at the unconscious monster, and said, "It's finally over. This really wore me out." The moon was bright and the stars were sparse. An armored truck was being pursued by several police cars, overtaking the RV where Zhou Shu and the others were driving normally. Not only that, but news helicopters were reporting in the sky. We are broadcasting live. The armored truck in this high-speed police chase is the cash carrier robbed from the Denver Federal Bank. The robbers have also taken a hostage. Suddenly, the ground directly in front of the cash carrier split open, and a large, sharp shard of diamond thrust out. Unaware, the robbers drove straight over it, scraping the tires and chassis raw. This forced the robbers to make an emergency stop by the side of the road. Seeing this, the police cars immediately surrounded them. The robber in the back seat quickly took the hostage and stepped out of the vehicle. As soon as the driver stepped out, he used a high-tech laser gun to fire at a police car blocking his way, shouting excitedly. This weapon is seriously awesome. However, as the smoke behind him cleared, a figure covered in diamonds appeared. Just as he realized something was wrong and turned around, Xiao Ban slapped the weapon out of his hand. What kind of thing are you? Don't come any closer. The robber immediately tried to run forward, but with a flick of Xiao Ban's finger, a diamond wall surged up from the road, lifting him into the air. Hearing the commotion, the other robber circled around from the back of the cash carrier. As soon as he arrived, he saw Diamond Head standing before him. He immediately released the hostage and raised his hands in surrender. That's right, we've captured footage of the alien heroes again. We don't know where these strange species come from, but they are here to assist us. However, the other human boy was not spotted this time. Previously, there was news footage of the two of them together. At this moment, the news wasn't just broadcasting Diamond Head's close-up, it was also playing inside a spaceship in outer space, far beyond the sight of Xiao Ban and the others. Mojo Jojo stood before a metal hatch, watching Xiao Ban on the screen. He's actually using the Omnitrix to play hero. It's all the fault of those two Earthlings, or the Omnitrix would have been mine long ago. Should we send more robotic monsters to take it back? As soon as the subordinate finished speaking, the metal hatch in front of him opened with a hiss and a cloud of smoke. Mojo Jojo stepped out, the tubes on his body detaching as he moved. No, this time I will handle it personally. The next day, before dawn, Xiao Ban woke up from a dream in terror. Another nightmare, Xiao Ban. Awakened by the noise, Grandpa Tian yawned and walked over. I dreamed of that weird alien again, only he was uglier, bigger, and scarier. Xiao Ban recalled the alien from her dream with a face full of terror. Xiao Wen, also woken up, complained impatiently. Are you sure you didn't just see yourself in the mirror? It was just a nightmare, child. We'll talk in the morning. Grandpa Tian comforted Xiao Ban while giving Zhou Shu a look, then headed outside. Seeing the signal, Zhou Shu also offered a word of comfort. It's okay, Xiao Ban. Believe me, I will protect you. That dream felt so real. He stared at me and said, I'm coming for you. Upon hearing Xiao Ban's last sentence, Zhou Shu and Grandpa Tian immediately locked eyes. Then, Grandpa Tian spoke to the confused Xiao Ban and Xiao Wen. Our plans have changed. We're leaving right now. Zhou Shu patted Xiao Ban's head. Go back to sleep. I'll wake you up tomorrow. Sweet dreams. After tucking Xiao Ban in, Zhou Shu walked toward Grandpa Tian, who was driving. Seeing Zhou Shu approach, he said, he's coming. We must make preparations. I've waited for this moment for a long time. I want to avenge my parents. Grandpa Tian glanced sideways and saw the fire of rage burning in Zhou Shu's eyes, as if he wanted to burn everything before him to ashes. He didn't know if this was a good thing. That's right, I need to make some preparations too. Thinking of this, Zhou Shu opened his system space. Looking at his 80,000 interaction points, he thought, now is the time to use you. He then found the option in the system mall to upgrade to the Eternal Mangekyo and pressed it without hesitation. Immediately, Zhou Shu felt a wave of weakness wash over his body, and an intense, searing pain radiated from his eyes, as if fire was burning within them. Zhou Shu's original Mangekyo pattern began to spin rapidly. Beside him, Grandpa Tian inexplicably felt a sense of weakness emanating from Zhou Shu. Xiao Shu, are you alright? Are you tired? Go get some rest. Alright, Grandpa Tian, I'll head off then. Zhou Shu forced himself to walk to his sleeping area. The moment he touched the bed, his body relaxed and he lost consciousness. Meanwhile, with the system's help, his eyes continued to evolve toward the Eternal Mangekyo. By dawn, Xiao Ban woke up but didn't see Zhou Shu coming to wake her. After washing up, she came out to find Zhou Shu lying on the bed with his eyes tightly shut. Xiao Ban immediately ran over. Shu, what's wrong? Xiao Ban, Xiao Shu hasn't woken up since he went to sleep last night. Let him rest for a while. Yeah, blockhead, try to be a bit quieter. Fine. Hearing her grandpa and Xiao Wen's conversation, Xiao Ban's face instantly turned gloomy, as if covered by a dark cloud. She silently walked over and sat on the stool opposite Xiao Wen. Xiao Ban stared intently at Xiao Wen, but Xiao Wen completely ignored her gaze. Xiao Ban continued to stare at her, having nothing else to do. I'm so bored. Shu isn't awake yet. Let me play on your computer. No, this is my private property, not for you to play games on. Besides, you should learn to entertain yourself. Seeing that Xiao Wen was unwilling, an idea immediately popped into Xiao Ban's head. Idea formed, action planned, goal set. After a brief mental debate, she reached a conclusion. It was feasible. Using the excuse of going to the bathroom, Xiao Ban quietly used the Omnitrix to transform into 4 arms. Then, she slipped into the vehicle's systems and slowly approached Xiao Wen's computer. While Xiao Wen was looking at the screen, Xiao Ban slipped into the computer without her noticing. Xiao Wen kept pressing keys, but nothing appeared on the screen, and even the mouse wouldn't move. Confused, Xiao Wen muttered, "Huh? What's going on?" As she kept trying, the screen suddenly flickered and changed into a 4 arms pattern, which began speaking to her. Sorry, you're a bookworm, and you'll always be a bookworm. As she spoke, 4 arms cheekily poked her head out to rub against Xiao Wen's face. Xiao Wen slammed the table in anger and shouted at the computer, "Blockhead, get out of my computer right now." What? I'm just entertaining myself. If you keep messing around, you're going to break it eventually. Xiao Wen picked up her laptop and shook it, trying to shake Xiao Ban out. Xiao Ban, get out of there. No way. Xiao Ban made the laptop sprout 2 legs and jump out of Xiao Wen's hands. Then, she discovered something else extraordinary. Oh tilde, there's a diary here. Let me see what's in it. Hearing Xiao Ban mention her diary, Xiao Wen desperately tried to grab her, but Xiao Ban had already started reading the contents aloud. Dear Diary, my cousin Xiao Ban is a total blockhead. Even though she's so much shorter than me, she's still my cousin. Stop it. At that moment, Grandpa Tian, who was driving, spoke to Xiao Ban without turning his head. Xiao Ban, you shouldn't be transforming into alien heroes right now, do you understand? Hearing her grandpa's words, 4 arms emerged from Xiao Wen's computer, and Xiao Wen saw that her laptop was undamaged. It's just so boring without a Shu to hang out with. Xiao Shu is still unconscious. We shouldn't be drawing any attention to ourselves. We're in the middle of nowhere, who's going to notice us? Then just pretend I didn't say anything. Just as Xiao Ban finished speaking, the Omnitrix symbol on 4 arms' chest began to flash red, and she reverted back to her original form. That's the end of part 3. Part 4 is coming soon.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and support our channel for more stories.